Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. My attributes system have no limit. Chapter 41. The dog-legger who was about to take action was immediately kicked out by Wang Qi and flew backwards for nearly 10 meters. His body was like a cooked shrimp. He covered his waist with his hands and wailed in pain. Who? Which one? You fool, you dare to kick me. Don't you know I'm Brother Joe? Wang Qi glanced at him coldly. Return to Brother Joe's person. Your Brother Joe is almost in trouble and you want him to save you. After Wang Qi kicked him down, he leaned down and looked at his sister. He was holding his ankle with a look of pain on his face. Wang Qi, why are you here? Wang Qi would definitely laugh at him if he saw how embarrassed he was now. If I hadn't come, you and Yan Fa would have been beaten to death. How are you? Are you seriously injured? The man who was protecting Wang Mengfei just now was Yan Fa, who called him uncle all day long. This boy stood there like a stone and did not fight back. He just waited for the beating, hoping that Yan Fa could protect Wang Mengfei. I'm afraid the two of them it's all set up here. Brother, I'm sorry, I didn't protect Mengfei well. It's just because I'm too weak. Yan Fa also lowered his head and sounded apologetic, with a hint of unwillingness that he was too weak. Wang Qi was still checking his sister's injury when he heard Zhou Heng's annoying voice coming from the side again. So it's you. It seems that your kick from Master Zhou this morning didn't satisfy you. Do you want to try this again? Ha ha ha. The two fools on the side also started to boo, and Zhou Heng didn't even look at the fool who was kicked to the ground by Wang Qi, but stared straight at Wang Qi. There were also many students from the martial arts school gathered around. It was the end of the martial arts training, and when they were about to go home, when they encountered this kind of bullying, no one came out to stop it or say a fair word. Seeing Zhou Heng's arrogant look, Wang Qi was even more angry. He stood up and punched Zhou Heng in the face without saying a word. He struck out so quickly that Zhou Heng had no time to react, and the huge power was even more intense. Half of Zhou Heng's face had collapsed, and several teeth were flying in the air accompanied by blood. After the hunting in the afternoon, Wang Qi was far from being as devoid of resistance as he was in the morning. The improvement in strength and the bloody hunting in the afternoon inspired the bloody nature of Wang Qi, a young man who would retaliate without mercy. When everyone on the side saw this, they immediately stepped back in fear, forming an open space in the middle. However, Zhou Heng's two henchmen saw that their boss was beaten, and they also attacked Wang Qi regardless of their own strength. Come. Act recklessly, Wang Qi shouted coldly and did not dodge. This Zhou Heng was only a 4th-level warrior and had no power to fight back in his hands. What's more, these two dog legs were no match for him. They punched him twice in a row. Facing the faces of these two people, he withdrew a little of the power in his hands. If he used all his strength to attack, I am afraid that the heads of these two people would be blown out by him, and he would not be able to account for his own life. The two of them couldn't react and were hit in the face by Wang Qi. Blood and tears flowed from their eyes. They immediately covered their faces and started wailing. Wang Qi raised his foot again, kicked the two of them aside, and walked towards Zhou Heng. You, don't come here. What are you doing? You can't do anything in the martial arts hall. Aren't you afraid of being punished by the instructor? Seeing Zhou Heng's appearance, Wang Qi was even more disdainful. He was really a piece of trash who bullies the weak and fears the strong. He kicked Zhou Heng to the ground with a sweep of his legs, squatted down, and patted Zhou Heng's face. Wang Qi also said, You can't do anything. Zhou Heng, you bullied me in the morning, and now you're bullying my sister, aren't you crazy? Brother, big brother, I was wrong and I don't dare to do it anymore. It's because I can't see the mountains. I'm blind today. You don't care about the faults of villains, just let me go. Zhou Heng's face was covered with blood at this time, and what he said in his mouth was a little unclear. He quickly turned over and lay on the ground, begging Wang Qi for mercy, hoping that Wang Qi would let him go, but he didn't dare to. I believe that Wang Qi's strength has improved so quickly. The newcomer who was bullied by him in the morning is now beating him so hard that he has no ability to fight back. He just beat half of his face to pieces. If he doesn't beg for mercy, I'm afraid I really have to get another beating today. Let you go, Wang Qi, take revenge on me and beat him hard. At this time, the sound of Wang Mengfei gnashing his teeth came from behind Wang Qi. He was struggling to stand up, limping, his face full of anger. He refused to let Wang Qi let Zhou Heng go. He had been teased and injured, how could he let go? Get over this fool. Brother Wang, Brother Qi, that's not the case. I really just wanted to invite this beauty to have dinner with me. Without saying a word, she kicked me in the lifeline. When I dodged, I slapped her on the foot. Palm, it really wasn't intentional. Zhou Heng was frightened when he heard Wang Mengfei's fierce words. He quickly explained what had just happened, wanting to explain the situation to Wang Qi and stop hitting him. After hearing this, Wang Qi also had some understanding in his heart. He knew best what his sister's temper was like, but even so, the humiliation in the morning could not be forgotten. Looking at Zhou Heng, who kept begging for mercy, Wang Qi had an idea in his mind: stand up. When Zhou Heng heard this, he stopped begging for mercy and showed a hint of joy on his face. Could it be that Wang Qi wanted to let him go? But I hate Wang Qi in my heart. I made you arrogant this time. I will ask my cousin to teach you a lesson someday. He quickly stood up and lowered his head, not daring to look at Wang Qi. Just when he was still thinking about how to take revenge, he saw Wang Qi raised a leg and kicked Zhou Heng's left leg hard. Let your disability pay for the kick in the morning. Ah! The sound of bones breaking, accompanied by Zhou Heng's screams of pain, Wang Qi's resentment also dissipated a lot. Turning around, he looked at his sister and Yan Fei and said, let's go. Zhou Heng was lying on the ground at this time, looking at his strangely bent left leg, and roared at Wang Qi's back with anger in his heart. Wang Qi, you dare to break one of my legs. You are looking for death, I will not let you go. Ah! The audience around seemed to be a little scared by Wang Qi's ferocity, and hurriedly scattered away. Only Zhou Heng and his 3 lackeys were left lying on the ground, wailing constantly. You 3 rubbish, take me to the hospital quickly, if my leg is broken, you can't have a good life. Zhou Heng looked at the 3 people who had been hanging out with him all day, and cursed them in his heart as a bunch of trash. The most important thing now is to go to the hospital and quickly connect the broken leg to avoid any problems. The 3 people lying on the ground heard Zhou Heng's cry, and hurriedly staggered to Zhou Heng and helped him up. Idiot, be gentle, it hurts me to death. The 4 people supported him and walked towards the hospital in the martial arts hall, accompanied by constant shouts of pain. Inside the hospital, stay in bed for a month and rest. If you want to practice, wait until you fully recover in 2 months. The doctor in the martial arts gym took care of Zhou Heng's leg problem and left with a few words of advice. The faces of the other 3 people were even wrapped in thick gauze, leaving only their eyes, noses and mouths where they could breathe. They were all dejected and suffered a huge blow. They bullied the weak on weekdays, but no one dared to do so in the martial arts gym. He was afraid of violating the rules of the martial arts school. Who would have thought that this guy would beat himself and others into this state today? It was really shocking. One of them even turned his eyes and asked Zhou Heng, Brother Zhou, are we just going to swallow this loss? It's just the 3 of us. Brother Zhou, your identity is unusual. The situation must be recovered. You've lost your identity. The other 2 losers also echoed, thinking that they would definitely not be able to take revenge. They usually rely on Zhou Heng to bully others, and now they must rely on his strength to take revenge. HMPH. I must avenge this. What do you 3 think? Zhou Heng was lying on the hospital bed, speaking fiercely, wishing he could eat Wang Qi alive, but his body didn't allow it, so he had to vent his anger through his mouth. Brother Zhou, in Baiyu Martial Arts School, no one has ever dared to take action like this. This time he beat us like this. Let's go and tell his instructor. The instructor will definitely not let him go easily, suggested a loser. Brother Zhou, your cousin is not very powerful. He knows many people in Yongfeng town. If you go to him for help and ask him to help you teach this kid a lesson, you will definitely be able to catch him. These losers spent the whole day with Zhou Heng. After hanging around together, we almost know Zhou Heng's details. When Zhou Heng heard the words of these 2 people, a look of arrogance appeared on his face. Idiot, a master of my cousin's level is invited to deal with Wang Qi. That would be a disgrace to my cousin. If he is asked if my friends know this, why don't they laugh at him and bother him? The rules of the martial arts school are enough for Wang Qi to drink. Tomorrow you will follow Wang Qi and see where his instructor is. 1. Tell his instructor carefully what happened today. This Zhou Heng's tone always revealed that his cousin was very powerful and there was no need to trouble his cousin at all. There was even a hint of meaningfulness in the last sentence of his words. When the three losers on the side heard this, especially the last sentence, they looked at each other and said loudly, "Brother Zhou is still very clever." The younger brothers admire him. Zhou Heng lay on the bed and listened to the compliments around him, with a sneer on his lips. "Wang Qi, just wait and see tomorrow. The entrance of Baiyu Martial Arts School. Can you do it?" Wang Qi looked at his sister limping and felt a little contempt in his heart. He was so arrogant even though he was not strong enough. Do you really think that if no one at home provokes her, then no one can stop her? No one cares about her outside. Hearing Wang Qi's reproachful tone, Wang Mengfei immediately threw away the hands held by the two people beside her, and stared at Wang Qi with her hands on her hips. "Why not? I don't need you to help me, I can walk by myself." Wang Kikai didn't want to listen to him, so he just stood aside and stopped supporting him. But Yan Fa couldn't stand it anymore, and he couldn't bear the pain of the person he liked, so he said quickly, "Mengfei, wait a moment, someone will come to pick me up soon, and I will take you home by the way." However, Yan Fa was still a little happy at this time. He stepped forward this time. It is estimated that Mengfei's view of him has changed, and he will send her back later. If her mother sees it, she will definitely improve herself in her family. Mental image. TCH, don't think that I don't know what you are thinking. Just save it. Wang Mengfei looked at Yan Fa with contempt, and Yan Fa suddenly turned red and was at a loss. After saying that, he limped to the side of the road, preparing to stop the car and go home on his own. Wang Qi glanced at Yan Fa in a funny way. This guy didn't like anyone. He had a unique vision for liking his sister, who had a bad temper. At this time, a black car slowly drove by, and a middle-aged man wearing black training clothes stepped out of the cab. He said respectfully to Yan Fa, "Second young master, let's go." Yan Fa signaled to him, "Uncle Chang, wait first." The middle-aged man nodded in response, stood aside, looked at Wang Qi, and smiled at Wang Qi without saying anything. Wang Qi returned the favor with a smile. This Yan Fa's identity is indeed extraordinary, second young master. I don't know what these wealthy families, especially this Yan Fa, think. If they really like their sister, that's it. If they dare to hurt their own family, Then Yan Fa turned around and shouted to Wang Mengfei, "Mengfei, let me take you back." Wang Qi didn't know what his sister thought of Yan Fa, as she always seemed to reject him. "No, the car is already here." Watching the Wang Qi brothers and sisters leave, Yan Fa looked a little lonely. He didn't know how he could impress the woman he admired and how he could be with her. Uncle Cheng on the side saw this and comforted him, "Master, don't be discouraged. There will be opportunities in the future. Let's go home first." "All right." After getting in the car, Yan Fa, who was sitting in the car, looked at the people coming and going outside the window and fell into deep thought for a while. "Master, there is something I don't know whether to say or not." Uncle Cheng in the driver's seat saw Yan Fa, who looked a little sad, and a trace of pity appeared on his face. Seeing Yan Fa nodding to himself, Uncle Cheng continued, "These days, you have been focusing on this love affair and neglected cultivation. How can you fulfill your wife's wish if you are not strong enough? There are beautiful women everywhere in the world, why do you only like this little girl? When you have achieved success in cultivation in the future, what kind of lady can't you find? Why can't you figure this out?" Hearing this, Yan Fa stretched out his hands and looked at the flow of people outside the car through the gap in his palms, with a bitter smile on his face. Cultivation. Why don't I want to work hard? Hearing this, Uncle Cheng also sighed, and the car that was originally driving fast on the road seemed to have slowed down. Rongsheng home. Wang Qi and his partner returned home. "Here, you're back. How was your training at the martial arts gym today?" Zhang Man was busy preparing dinner at this time. Seeing the two of them coming back, her face was immediately full of smiles. Wang Qi went to the martial arts gym for the first time today, and he also joined the hunting group. Zhang Man really wanted to know how her child was doing in the martial arts gym today. "I'm fine, everything went well, but my little sister. What's wrong with me? I'm fine today, too. I'm a little tired. I'll go back to my room first, Mom. Call me for dinner later." Before Wang Qi finished speaking, he was slapped hard by Wang Mengfei, who was standing next to him. She looked at him angrily, with a warning look in her eyes. She didn't want Wang Qi to tell what happened today, otherwise her mother would scold her again. Staring at Wang Qi, he kept winking at Wang Qi to signal him not to tell anyone about what happened in the afternoon. Then she worked hard to adjust her walking posture, trying to make herself look normal, so as not to be discovered, hurting her feet, and walked towards her room. Wang Qi wanted to laugh in his heart when he saw this. He originally wanted to tell his mother that his sister had been injured, but now it seems that he had better forget it. If he told it, Wang Mengfei might have to make trouble for him again, but he had to do it himself in the afternoon. If my mother pressed me further, I might not be able to explain it, so I might as well not tell her. Mom, do you need help? Seeing the dinner that was not ready yet, Wang Qi stepped forward to help prepare it, but was blocked by Zhang Man. You must be tired after a day of training in the martial arts gym today. Go and have a rest. I'll tell you to serve dinner when it's ready. As he said that, he pushed Wang Qi towards his own room. When Wang Qi saw this, he said helplessly, "Okay, call me if you need help." Back in his room, Wang Qi sat at his desk and recalled what happened today. Wang Qi was very happy that his strength had improved. However, Instructor Liang Yu reminded him to pay more attention to his body's qi and blood status. Why was this? Lost in thought for a while. Your own qi and blood follow the changes of your physical attributes. If you want to improve it, you only need attribute points. Now that your physical constitution is low, the main problem is that the time that your physical strength can last will be shorter. You won't be able to last long with a full burst, except for this problem does not have any negative effects on the body due to weak qi and blood. Let's do this for now. If you have any questions later, you can ask Instructor Liang for help, or wait until the weekend to see if Teacher Shaw can teach you some knowledge in this area. The internet in this world is also strange. A large part of the knowledge I have learned over the years has relied on the internet. History, world, humanities, and cultural subjects are all described, but only the training information of this warrior cannot be found at all. There are only some advertisements and news to promote the strength of warriors. Wang Qi opened the computer that he had used for several years. It was bought by Wang Qi's family to help Wang Qi study cultural subjects. It was not that Wang Qi could not afford it, but after he went to school, the looks from the people around him made Wang Qi have no idea at all. The only way is to calm down and study. If you can't bear not being able to go to school, you can only study by yourself at home. You have to use the internet and ask for tutoring to complete some basic cultural knowledge learning. Wang Qi had a vague impression that learning these basic knowledge was very similar to before. Except for history and geography, he could master it very quickly. This is why his family agreed to Wang Qi's self-study at home. After browsing the internet and not finding any meaningful information, Wang Qi got up and walked to the bed and lay down on it. The training in the martial arts hall today was really awesome. Now that my strength has improved, I still have more than 10,000 alliance coins. I have to find time to spend and buy some things for my family. What should I buy? Wang Qi, who has become richer, also wants to help his family share some of the burden. In recent years, he has been in poor health and is worried that it will increase the burden on the family. These are of no use either. I broke one of Zhou Heng's legs today. I wonder if this guy will cause trouble for me again. Thinking of this, Wang Qi couldn't help but feel a little annoyed that he was not calm enough. Logically speaking, he should be very mature in his two lives, but in his last life, he had just grown up and entered society, and he came here inexplicably and experienced a more lonely life all over again. In life, in addition to being very old in the sense, the actual social experience has not improved much at all, and it is still stuck in the current state of the young man. When soldiers come, we will block it. When water comes, earth comes to cover us. I am strong enough now. Zhou Heng is only a 4th level warrior, so I shouldn't be afraid. But I still need to think more carefully when dealing with things in the future. At this time, Wang Qi was analyzing his behavior in the afternoon. He was indeed a little impulsive. When his brain got hot, he kicked Zhou Heng's leg and broke it. However, people in this world have good physical fitness, especially warriors, who have strong resilience. It is estimated that 1 or 2 you will be able to stand up again after a few months. Although it was a bit reckless, thinking about the bad breath he had let out in the afternoon made me feel extremely happy. After looking at the time, Wang Qi sat up. In the conference room that instructor Liang took me to this afternoon, I vaguely heard the martial arts school's recruitment meeting. The quota conditions for the special batch have been relaxed to the 7th level of martial arts. Now I am only the 6th level of martial arts, and there is less than a week left. Time. Last time I heard Teacher Shaw say that the 7th level warrior is said to be a master among warriors, and the strength will reach 128 people. Now I am still less than half of it, and the martial arts school has relaxed the conditions to have such a high standard. Sure enough, it is not an ordinary person. You can sign up to participate. Quote. Thinking of the information he heard in the afternoon, Wang Qi's heart moved. Although the strength gap is still quite far, he may not be unable to try the magical ability of relying on the system. It's really ridiculous. I used to think that warriors were so powerful that few could practice. But today, when I saw the world, I discovered what it means to be a frog in a well. There are 4,000 to 5,000 warriors in Bayou Martial Arts School alone. What's more, Bayou Martial Arts School is just one of many martial arts schools in Yongfeng Town. Wang Qi has only heard about the 3 most powerful martial arts schools, but has never seen them. Saw it. Now that his strength has improved, think about the many people who were at high speed when they went to the Silver Ring Mall in the morning. Some of them were slow, but Wang Qi saw that many of them were martial artists. Practice hard. I have to try this martial arts school special recruitment. Wang Qi, who was sitting on the bed, clenched his fists tightly, and his thin face was full of determination. In Wang Mengfei's bedroom on the other side, Wang Mengfei was sitting on a chair, lifting her legs and applying something to her ankles, muttering. Wang Qi was able to beat Zhou Heng, without any chance to fight back. How did his strength improve so fast? Doesn't it mean that my status as a sister is in jeopardy? I need him to protect me in the future. Zhou Heng used to practice with the same instructor as himself, and he had just broken through the 4th level of martial artist and entered the intermediate class. With Wang Qi's strength, could he also be a 4th level martial artist? Or even higher? But how is this possible? It has only been a few days since I stood up, and I have been able to cultivate to this level. Have I cultivated to a ghost over the years? There was an indignant expression on his face. I must find Wang Qi and ask him about this later. Dinner was still a rich meat meal. But this kind of ordinary meat now has very low energy. Wang Qi only recovered his physical strength after eating it, and it did not help the increase of attribute points. However, his mother's cooking skills were very good, and Wang Qi was very satisfied with the meal. But during the meal, his sister looked at him with a bit of ferocity, and he didn't know why. Backyard training room. Wang Mengfei was hugging her arms in front of her chest at this time, looking at Wang Qi with an unhappy face, and the injury on her foot seemed to have recovered a lot, standing straight. Wang Qi, tell me the truth, has your strength increased again? The pain in her feet on the way back made me forget the powerful appearance of Wang Qi in the afternoon. I had to ask clearly after thinking about it in the room just now. Yes, is there any problem? Wang Qi was asked a little inexplicably. If the strength increases, it will increase. I didn't think about hiding it from anyone. Why should I tell the truth? This dead girl's words can really make people angry. Wang Qi's tone of voice was not very good either. Then you can teach me too. Hearing Wang Qi admit that his strength has improved, Wang Mengfei's originally unhappy expression was immediately replaced by flattery, and her tone became a little pleading. This sudden change in appearance immediately scared Wang Qi. What's going on? But Wang Qi's strength improvement is due to the datization of the system, using attribute points to enhance strength. Where can I get any method to teach her? After hearing this, Wang Qi was thinking about how to fool his sister. You should practice well, don't think about playing all day long. I am gifted. I have made rapid progress in practicing basic bodybuilding methods. This is why my strength has improved a lot. What can I teach you? It's not like you don't know this basic bodybuilding method. Thinking a lot in his mind, but really can't think of any good excuses, Wang Qi had to helplessly attribute it all to his talent. As soon as Wang Qi finished speaking, he heard Wang Mengfei's contemptuous eyes looking at Wang Qi and saying, "Come on, just don't say it, and you are gifted." Ha! I will surpass you sooner or later. Just wait and see. While despising Wang Qi, Wang Mengfei was unwilling to be outdone and said harsh words. But without asking anything, Wang Mengfei had to give up and practice on her own. Wang Mengfei's figure in the practice area was practicing unusually diligently today, at a very fast speed, without taking a break. Wang Qi, who was also practicing at the side, smiled when he saw this. Wang Qi was still practicing the basic bodybuilding method with all his strength at this time. At the second level, every 100 times of practice can bring him 2 free attribute points. With the improvement of Wang Qi's current strength, he can complete nearly 50 times of practice in each cycle, and the time is only less than 8 minutes, but the rest time needs to be longer. These nearly 50 times of practice will basically make Wang Qi's physical strength close to overdraft. It takes less than 8 minutes to complete a cycle, but now it takes nearly 10 minutes to recover physical strength. After several times, Wang Qi seemed to be thinking about something. For me now, if I only rely on practicing the basic bodybuilding method to gain attribute points, it will take too long and my physical strength will be difficult to recover. The longer I practice, the fewer repetitions I will have unless I recover to my peak physical strength. On average, it takes a little more than 30 minutes to complete 100 basic bodybuilding exercises, including rest time. In the same amount of time, if I hunt 3 level 6 beasts, I can get close to the benefits of this exercise, and 4 can exceed it. In a battle of the same level, I rely on the Flying Catkin's Fist, which will increase my strength by half, and the difficulty will not be very high. Hunting beasts is still faster. Although there is also physical consumption, it is not as much as the basic bodybuilding method, which consumes a cycle every time. However, now I can only rely on practicing this basic bodybuilding method at home, seize every second, and strive to enter the 7th level of warriors as soon as possible. Try to distribute the attributes obtained during practice to physical fitness and speed, so that you can increase the speed of each cycle and the upper limit of physical strength. Increase 2 points of physical fitness. The 2 points of attributes just obtained from practice were added to physical fitness, and the current physical fitness increased from 21 to 23. After a short rest, I felt that my physical strength had not decreased as much as before. Before, I could complete nearly 50 times per set with full physical strength, but with 80% to 90% physical strength recovery, I could only complete a little over 40 times. Now the upper limit has been raised, so the recovered physical strength can also complete nearly 50 times. Feeling the changes in his body, Wang Qi continued to train. Abnormal. During the training, Wang Mengfei could be heard from time to time with jealousy. Living room. Dong dong dong. Zhang Man, who was resting, suddenly heard a knock on the door and stood up in confusion. Who is it? Who has nothing to do at this time to come to visit? Shaoli next door. When he walked to the door and opened it, he saw a middle-aged man in black training clothes with a smile on his face. Who are you? Zhang Man thought about it, and it seemed that there was no such person in his memory. What was he doing? Hello, I am the housekeeper of your daughter's classmate. I have something to discuss with you today. Let me introduce myself. My name is Cheng Gang. Zhang Man heard the other party introduce himself, and he was the housekeeper of his daughter's classmate. His identity is very unusual. But what's the matter? Hello, come in and talk. Out of courtesy, Zhang Man gestured to Cheng Gang to come in, and Cheng Gang nodded and came to the living room. Zhang Man got a glass of water for him, sat on the sofa in the living room, looked at him, and asked with some confusion, "What are you here to discuss with me today? And we don't know each other, right?" When Cheng Gang heard this, he smiled calmly. Said, "It's about your daughter and my young master." Zhang Man was even more confused when he heard this. Whose young master has something to do with his daughter? My young master's surname is Yan. Your surname is Yan. I don't know you. When he heard the other party introducing his young master, Zhang Man shook his head. He didn't know the young master named Yan at all. When Cheng Gang saw this, the smile on his face paused, and he continued, "It doesn't matter, let's get down to business. My young master has fallen in love with your daughter, but he doesn't have any extra time to waste on this girl. Please also enlighten your daughter so that she can reject my young master and not associate with him." Cheng Gang paused and added, "Or leave my young master." Zhang Man felt a little confused when he heard what the other party said, but Cheng Gang's last words suddenly made Zhang Man's face darken. What do you mean? There was a hint of anger in his tone. Your young master likes my daughter, and you don't want to let us leave. What's the point? I've made it so clear, don't you understand? Cheng Gang stared at Zhang Man with a sharp look. If it's for this matter, you'd better please come back. She will make her own decision about the child, and I won't interfere. Cheng Gang was as steady as a rock when he saw this. He looked at Zhang Man and said calmly, don't refuse in a hurry. Here is 300,000 alliance coins. Consider it our compensation for you. As he spoke, Cheng Gang took out a Union Bank bank card from his pocket and put it on the table. He thought that he might not be so determined after seeing the money. He had investigated this family and found that their family conditions were average. 10,000 alliance coins are a huge sum of money to them. Seeing the bank card, Zhang Man became even more angry and looked at the other party angrily. What do you want to use this 300,000 for? Compensation. What a joke. I know very well what is going on with my own daughter, and besides, your young master likes her. If you want to take care of my daughter, you also take care of your young master, and now she comes to our house. What kind of logic is this? Zhang Man really didn't expect that there would be such a thing. It was obviously the other party's problem, but now he wanted his daughter to solve it. Cheng Gang looked at Zhang Man's angry look, and his expression darkened. Isn't it enough? As he said that, he took out his mobile phone and started operating it. Then he pointed to the bank card on the table and said, there is 1 million in this card now. Is it enough? When Zhang Man heard this, he picked up the bank card on the table and threw it on Cheng Gang. Take your money and don't give it away. The tone was full of anger. At this moment, Cheng Gang was also a little angry, and said angrily, don't be ignorant. He was sincere and gave him enough money, but this woman was so indifferent, which was really irritating. What's going on? Do you still want to take action? Use force to solve it? Are you bullying me, a woman? Zhang Man was also unafraid, looking at the other party with an angry face, as if he was about to start a fight if he disagreed. You'd better think about it again. This 1 million alliance coins is not a small amount. Cheng Gang seemed unwilling to give up, and was still asking Zhang Man to think carefully, and wanted to use money to impress Zhang Man and let her persuade her daughter. Indeed, this 1 million alliance coins is a huge sum of money for her family. Even 300,000 is already a lot, but how can she, a mother, make such a decision? Besides, she also understood clearly from what she heard about this matter that the main problem still lies with the second young master of the Yan family. Even if her daughter stays away from him and refuses, so what? If the person involved still doesn't change his mind, what's the use? He was angry in his heart and didn't want Cheng Gang to stay at home anymore and said angrily, you hurry up and leave. Don't think about it. You can even identify the cause of the matter clearly, and you even ran over to tell my daughter to stay away. It's so ridiculous. When Cheng Gang saw this, he felt a little unwilling. He didn't know that his young master liked the daughter of this family. He just hoped that Wang Mengfei could reject his young master, stop his thoughts, and practice well from now on. I will come again. When Cheng Gang saw this, he had no choice but to leave here unwillingly. After leaving Wang's house, Cheng Gang came to the car he was driving. He took out his cell phone and dialed the number. After a while, the call was connected. Cheng Gang, are things done? Came a deep voice, which seemed to be about the same age as Cheng Gang. After what happened just now, Cheng Gang didn't feel confident, and said in a nervous tone, Master, I went to Wang Mengfei's mother first according to your instructions, but she didn't agree. The voice over there seemed to pause for a moment and asked with some confusion, what, didn't you give me enough money? Hearing this, Cheng Gang even said with a wry smile, Master, I just gave you 1 million. The other party still doesn't agree. There's nothing I can do about it. The man on the other end of the phone seemed to sigh. Next time, go directly to Wang Mengfei. I saw that Yan Fa liked her and didn't want her to be exposed to these things. I wanted to avoid her. It seems that I am too soft-hearted. Then his tone was extremely serious, even with a hint of murderous intent. Next time, no matter what method you use, you must complete the task I asked you. Whether it is alliance coins or using force, you can decide it yourself. I only want results. My son, Yan Rongshuan, still has a lot of burdens on him. Zhang, the matter of his cultivation will be solved soon after I make a breakthrough, and I will inform you then. Hearing this, Cheng Gang quickly responded, yes, yes, yes. The man on the other side hung up the phone after finishing speaking. Cheng Gang's face here was a little pale, and he seemed to be frightened by the murderous voice just now. After installing his mobile phone, Cheng Gang adjusted his posture, and there was a hint of fierceness in his expression. He said to himself, I hope you won't be as ignorant as your mother. No wonder my men are ruthless. However, thinking of the last words spoken by the head of the family, Cheng Gang, who was originally a little discouraged, seemed to be energized. Young master is finally able to practice. The head of the house is really powerful. He slowly drove away in a black car. Wang Qi's home. Wang Qi, who had just practiced for 2 hours, had almost exhausted his physical strength and could hardly recover. He had gained 8 usable attribute points in just 2 hours, which increased his physique and speed by 4 points each. Now Wang Qi's physique and speed are not that far behind. Host, Wang Qi. Level, Warrior level 6. Kung Fu, the second level of basic body training, 7/100ths. Skill, Flying Catkin's Fist. Proficiency 136 200th, skill damage 150%. Strength, 64. Physique, 27. Speed, 20. Spirit, 2. Attribute points, none. Wealth, 11,200. Equipment, none. Wang Mengfei also gritted her teeth and persisted for a long time today. At this time, she was sitting aside watching Wang Qi practice, gritting her teeth and envious. Seeing that Wang Qi also stopped practicing, she punched Wang Qi's shoulder hard. Wang Qi was still a little painful from the punch. He rubbed his shoulder and said in a bad tone, "What are you doing?" HMPH. Wang Mengfei didn't say anything and walked towards the living room. Inexplicable. Zhang Man in the living room was still angry. Wang Qi was curious. His mother usually had a calm temper. He rarely saw her angry in all these years. He asked quickly, "Mom, what's wrong? You're so angry." Zhang Man glanced at Wang Qi and didn't say anything. Instead, she stared at Wang Mengfei beside Wang Qi and said angrily, "Wang Mengfei, come here." Seemingly frightened by Zhang Man's behavior, Wang Mengfei secretly glanced at Wang Qi with murderous eyes, as if she was wondering if Wang Qi had revealed her secret. Then she walked up to Zhang Man and whispered, "Mom, what's wrong? I've told you so many times to practice well in school and not to mess around all the time. I've told you so many times that you just don't listen, huh? Is it because I haven't dealt with you for a long time and you're itching?" Zhang Man slapped Wang Mengfei on the back of her head and said angrily. When Wang Mengfei heard this, her suspicions were confirmed, and she glared at Wang Qi fiercely, her eyes filled with the anger of being betrayed. Wang Qi was even more confused by the widened eyes, and he didn't say anything. Zhang Man even said reluctantly, "How old are you? If you don't practice well in the martial arts gym, you only think about falling in love. No wonder your overall martial arts cultivation has not progressed. Do you want to make me angry to death?" Hearing this, Wang Mengfei looked at Wang Qi with a fierce expression. Why was it different from what she thought? He turned to look at his angry mother and stammered, "Mom, what are you talking about? What is love? Why can't I understand?" Another slap. Still pretending. "Tell me, what's going on with that second young master named Yan and you?" Wang Mengfei looked at her mother in confusion and asked, "The surname is Yan. The second young master. You don't know about Yan Fa, right? What does it have to do with him? Didn't you meet him at Yinwan Mall that day? I have nothing to do with him." Hearing that Wang Mengfei said frankly that there was nothing fishy between them, Zhang Man's anger dropped a lot. It seemed that the second young master of the Yan family was really chasing after his daughter. Zhang Man was still a little worried and asked with doubt in his tone, "Is this really the case?" Wang Mengfei had an expression uglier than crying at this time, and said with an aggrieved look, "Mom, you beat me just because of this. I really died unjustly. Yan Fa wanted to chase me, but I never gave him chances. I don't have feelings for him at all." Zhang Man's expression softened when he heard this, and said, "It's okay if you don't feel anything. Don't let me find out that you are not practicing well in the martial arts gym. Be careful and I will deal with you." Seeing that her mother's anger had dissipated, Wang Mengfei smiled coquettishly and said to Zhang Man, "Really, is it wrong for someone to chase your daughter because she is so charming? You slapped me twice just for this. How can you practice if your head is broken?" After saying that, she didn't forget to ask what was going on. "Mom, why did you suddenly ask this today? Did someone tell you something?" Then she glanced at Wang Qi. In her eyes, it seemed that Wang Qi had always been there. They are all the people who might betray her. It's okay if you don't. Remember what I said, don't be so playful and smiling, and stay away from that Yama in the future. Zhang Man was relieved at this time and did not tell Wang Mengfei the reason for the matter. Although there was no problem for her daughter to have free love and she supported it, Yanfa's family seemed to be a wealthy family. Such an environment might not be good for her daughter. Any benefit? Once you enter a wealthy family, you are as deep as the sea. It's better to stay away. Okay, I promise you. Don't be angry. Seeing that her mother's tone was much calmer, Wang Mengfei quickly expressed her promise. It's not too early. You have just finished practicing. Clean up and go to bed early. Zhang Man seemed to feel a lot more relaxed after settling a worry in his mind. He stood up, stretched and yawned, signaling Wang Qi and the others to take a rest early. Early next morning, Wang Qi and Wang Mengfei separated after arriving at Baiyu Martial Arts School and went to their respective classes. It was still early and there were no martial arts students practicing along the way. Arriving at the place where he had tested his strength yesterday, Wang Qi saw the tall figure of instructor Liang Yu standing not far away. "Let's go. I have to go and talk to Baldhead first, and then we'll go hunting," Liang Yu said. "Yes, instructor." Wang Qi followed closely. 5 minutes later, the two came to the side of the martial arts hall where the senior hunting group was gathering to prepare for hunting. Among the figures in front were several members of the senior hunting team who hunted with Wang Qi yesterday. They all greeted Wang Qi politely when they saw him coming. "Wang Qi, do you want to go with us?" Fang Lei also stood in the crowd and asked Wang Qi. She saw with her own eyes yesterday that Wang Qi's strength was pretty good, although it was not as good as the average level of the senior hunting group. But today's mission is just to go to the intermediate hunting area, which is completely enough with Wang Qi's strength. Seeing this, Wang Qi smiled and nodded. The bald instructor Lu on the side also saw the two of them, with a strange look on his face. "Liang Yu, the owner asked me to give you a team, but most of my 2 hunting teams use knives. Can it be done?" There was some doubt in the words. Although the advanced hunting group led by the instructor did not have to take time to practice martial arts alone like the junior and intermediate groups, the efficiency of training in actual combat training was much higher than that of training without goals, and the instructor also it is necessary to continuously guide and correct the problems of martial arts students in actual combat confrontations, so that their martial arts abilities can be further improved. In bald instructor Lu's impression, the boxing skills that Liang Yu has been teaching in the junior hunting group, sword skills and boxing skills are completely 2 concepts. Can Liang Yu do it? I mainly lead him. I am traveling with you. If you want to lead 2 groups, you can continue, I have no objection. On the contrary, I have nothing to do. Liang Yu heard what the bald instructor Lu said and pointed at Wang Qi. Wang Qi was even more flattered and didn't know what instructor Liang meant by this. "Humph, since you said that, it seems that I'd better not leave this hunting group to you, so as not to waste others." Bald instructor Lu also sounded a little unhappy. "When the time comes, you can explain it yourself to the owner. Let's go. Let's set off and target the intermediate hunting area. Today's mission: 4.5.6 level beasts, 100 each. If you 2 teams don't meet the standards, you will come back when you have hunted enough. Get in the car." Hearing such a huge number of tasks, the students of the advanced hunting group were miserable. Although these were intermediate beasts, it was not so easy to hunt them, especially the level 6 beasts. With their current strength, it would take some effort. Wang Qi and Liang Yu also got on the car. "There are so many tasks today. If I can kill all the beasts, 40 plus 50 plus 60, I can get 150 points of usable attributes, and hundreds of thousands of alliance coins. But I don't have a chance at all." Wang Qi kept calculating in his mind that if he could complete the hunting goal of a group alone, it would bring him a huge improvement, but this matter was not something he could control at all. Fang Lei, who was sitting in the front seat, turned around and said to Wang Qi, "Do you want to join us?" Hearing this, Wang Qi remembered that he had gained a lot of attributes with the help of Fang Lei and others yesterday. Now he was invited to join them. He was very happy and was about to agree, but was interrupted by Liang Yu, the instructor beside Wang Qi. "He will join me." "Instructor, I." Liang Yu's face was cold and repellent, which made Wang Qi and Fang Lei tremble in their hearts. Why is this instructor so scary? Wang Qi was about to express his thoughts, but was forced back by Liang Yu's eyes. The surrounding scenery kept passing by. Wang Qi, who had just been rejected by the instructor, did not dare to ask to join Fang Lei's hunting team for a while. When passing an exit of Yongfang town, the bus that Wang Qi and his companions were riding suddenly stopped. "Routine inspection. Please show your identity." The voice came from under the car. Wang Qi looked through the window and saw a man in uniform standing next to the driver's cab of the bus. "We are from Baiyu Martial Arts School and are now ready to go out hunting. This is my warrior certificate." At this time, the bald instructor Lu also got off the car, took out a Baiyu Martial Arts School certification, and a gray-white square card, and handed it over. The uniformed man took the certificate from Instructor Lu, looked at it, and then took out a square machine, put Instructor Lu's card on it, and then scanned Instructor Lu's face for a while, and heard a synthesized electronic voice, "Authentication completed. Warrior identity confirmed. Lu Hongsheng." Then the man directed the two people to enter the bus that Wang Qi and others were riding and conducted an inspection. When they walked to Wang Qi to check on Instructor Liang Yu, the two men's faces were immediately filled with respect. After confirming the identity information, the man also said to Instructor Lu, "Okay, the number of wild animals in the suburbs has increased dramatically recently, and we need you warriors to go hunting and maintain the safety of our Yongfang town. Let them go." Instructor Lu put away his things and asked the other party, "Excuse me, why has the situation in the suburbs become so serious?" The man seemed to shake his head and said, "I don't know the details. The situation in the wild is dangerous and complicated. We just received a notice to set up checkpoints to prevent ordinary people without strength from going out. Yongfang town now has our people guarding all the exits, big and small. Okay, let's go. There are people waiting behind." Then the vehicle continued to drive and left the safe area of Yongfang town. Along the way, some weak wild animals were constantly chasing the bus that Wang Qi and others were riding in. The situation was very different from yesterday. In Wang Qi's memory, there were no wild animals on this stretch of road yesterday. Now, in just a short while, the number of wild animals encountered was as many as in the primary hunting area. "Stop." Instructor Lu jumped out of the car and waved. "Something is wrong in the wild today. The car can't go any further. There are a lot of wild animals. We'll go on foot." Hearing this, the hunting team members in the car stood up one after another. Some jumped out of the window and stood next to the bus. "Take your weapons and get ready to go." Instructor Lu opened the trunk of the car and saw many long knives neatly placed in it. The blades were sharp, and some still had some blood stains. Everyone had a long knife, which was extremely shocking. Wang Qi couldn't help but feel a little regretful when he saw this. It seemed that he had no weapons to use today. He used boxing, and there were only long swords here, which he could not use at all. Then he turned his head and looked at Instructor Liang and asked, "Instructor Liang, I don't have any weapons today, what should I do?" "Weapons? Your own fists are also weapons. Can't you hunt wild animals without weapons?" Instructor Liang looked at Wang Qi coldly and corrected Wang Qi's thoughts. Wang Qi lowered his head with an embarrassed expression on his face and replied, "Instructor is right." Just as Wang Qi was thinking that he didn't know whether it was good or bad to follow Instructor Liang Yu, who was too strict and looked cold, making it difficult for people to approach him. Liang Yu moved his palm and a pair of black boxing gloves appeared in his hands. "The weapons of the martial arts hall cannot be put into our storage space at will. This is a pair of boxing gloves I used a long time ago. Now I give it to you." Wang Qi was overjoyed when he took the boxing gloves. This weapon looked much stronger than the standard weapon yesterday. Although there were no fist blades and spikes on the outside of the boxing gloves like the standard boxing gloves, the weight and texture in his hands were far from comparable to the former. "Instructor, can I use the storage space?" Wang Qi saw his instructor using the storage space to perfection, and he was a little envious and asked with anticipation. When you break through the warrior and enter a higher level, you can use the condensed blood and qi. You should practice hard now. Only when you are strong can you earn money to buy these equipment. The smallest storage space is only tens of millions of alliance coins. Unfortunately, the overall strength of Baiyu Martial Arts School is too low, and only one is issued to each instructor of the hunting group to transport the beast corpses. But Wang Qi looked at his instructor and seemed to think that the 10 million alliance coins were just a string of numbers to him. And he was a little disdainful of the strength of Baiyu Martial Arts School. Warriors enter a higher level. I am only a warrior at level 6 now, and it will take some time. Just after getting the weapon in his hand, Wang Qi looked at the changes on the attribute panel and learned the name and function of the boxing gloves. Equipment: Fine Iron Boxing Gloves, Strength plus 5. Sure enough, it is stronger than the standard weapon yesterday, and can increase strength by 5 points. Now with the boxing gloves, my strength has reached 69, and will soon break through 70. It is extremely comfortable to wear on the hand. At this time, everyone was ready, and they heard Liang Yu said to Wang Qi, "Let's go." They actually want to act alone. The bald instructor Lu was so angry that his hair was about to pop out of his scalp. He looked at Liang Yu and Wang Qi's backs with anger. "Good luck to you." Humph. Instructor Lu was angry. Wild beasts were rampant in the suburbs these past 2 days. The instructor's strength was far beyond that of the students in the martial arts hall. Even if he encountered a first-level monster and was unable to fight it, he could evacuate safely. But who could guarantee that he would not encounter a more powerful second-level monster? Originally, he thought that with Liang Yu accompanying him, he could guarantee the safety of the advanced students in the martial arts hall to the greatest extent, but who would have thought that Liang Yu would take Wang Qi and the other two and act alone? Liang Yu still had a blank expression on his face, as if nothing could affect his state of mind, but Wang Qi was different. It was so dangerous for him and the instructor to be in the wilderness. He asked nervously, "Instructor, aren't we going with them?" Liang Yu glanced at Wang Qi and said nothing. But Wang Qi couldn't pretend not to see the meaning in that look, so he had to comfort himself in his heart that it would be okay with the instructor. Your target today is the 6th level beast. Before that, find a few weaker ones to warm up with. As he said that, he flashed and stood on a big tree in the distance. 100 meters southeast, go. I'm watching you from above. Liang Yu actually wanted to make a human-shaped map for Wang Qi, to explore the surrounding environment for Wang Qi and point out where the beasts were. Wang Qi was very happy about this good thing, as he didn't have to look for them himself, which saved a lot of time. Ding, a lot of beasts were found. Originally, Wang Qi was excited to hunt the beasts and get attribute points, but when he got to the front, the system's prompts and what he saw made Wang Qi's scalp numb. These are not just a few beasts, but dozens of them. Looking around, 2 groups of beasts are attacking each other. One of them looks like the wild boar killed yesterday, and the other is baring its teeth with a ferocious expression, very much like a wolf. Don't stand there. The red-stewed wild boar and the gray wolf are both at level 5 or 6 of the beast. It's not a problem for you, go ahead. Wang Qi was still wondering what kind of creature this was, and the voice of instructor Liang Yu urging him to quickly enter the battle and kill the beasts here came to his ears. Wang Qi looked at the battle in front of him. It seemed that the instructor was pushing himself to the limit, and he was so ferocious right from the start. He sprinted fiercely, without any hesitation, and rushed into the battle ahead. These are all attribute points. Fortune and wealth are sought in danger, just do it. At this time, the 2 groups of wild beasts in front were fighting each other. Wang Qi took the opportunity to constantly wander around. While the wild beasts were biting each other, he used the flying fist to hit the wild beasts fiercely. The speed of his hands was extremely fast, and the wild beasts had no time to react. With the addition of the flying fist, Wang Qi's attack power increased by 50%, close to the power of 100 people, and the internal organs of the 2 wild beasts were smashed and died. Attribute points plus 0.5 plus 0.6. One of the beasts seemed to be the gray wolf. Wang Qi's actions alarmed the other wild beasts that were still fighting. Suddenly, the 2 wild boars closest to Wang Qi roared and rushed towards Wang Qi. Their thick and solid 4 hooves kicked the ground hard, splashing huge dust, and opened their mouths with a fishy smell to bite Wang Qi. Looking at this huge impact, Wang Qi did not retreat at all. He stepped hard and stretched out his fists to hit the two wild boars coming towards him. The wild boar that opened its mouth to bite Wang Qi was smashed to the ground from top to bottom. The huge impact force made the ground under Wang Qi's feet sink a little. Wang Qi took another step forward and smashed the heads of the two wild boars. There was a sound of cracking, and the sound of the wild boar's skull was heard. The whole wild boar head sank into the ground under Wang Qi's fierce force. Attribute points plus 0.5 plus 0.5. It seems that this wild boar is only a level 5 beast, which is not difficult to deal with. It seems that I still have too little combat experience and wasted too much time. I don't know where the beast's vital point is, so I can only smash its head to kill it. And the accuracy of the attack is much worse. If I can hit the skull of the wild boar with one blow, I will definitely kill it with my current strength. Wang Qi, you have too little combat experience, and your efficiency in killing wild animals is too slow. Keep moving, and listen carefully when you fight. I'll tell you how to attack. Instructor Liang Yu's voice came from a distance. Wang Qi responded loudly, and then entered the battle again, still facing the wild boar, and heard Liang Yu's voice. Dend and retreat. Above the wild boar's head, 2 fists away from its back. Jump and attack. Killed with one blow, Liang Yu's control of the battle far exceeded Wang Qi's, and the command was neat and tidy. In the blink of an eye, he helped Wang Qi smash the wild boar's head, blood flowed all over the ground, and it was dead. It was several times faster than Wang Qi's speed just now. Keep going. Grey Wolf in front of the left. Without waiting for Wang Qi to catch his breath, Liang Yu continued to command. Looking at the Grey Wolf in front of him, he lowered his head, bared his teeth, and drooled from his mouth. With a trace of cruel blood red in his eyes, he slowly crawled towards Wang Qi. Wang Qi did not slack off at all, and concentrated on thinking about what to do if he attacked. Up, 5 steps to the right. Wang Qi rushed to the right fiercely. Sideways. The Grey Wolf also reacted very quickly, turned his head and bit Wang Qi's arm fiercely. If Wang Qi could not dodge in time, Wang Qi's arm would be injured. He has revealed a flaw. Sideways, and waist. Attack. Wang Qi heard Liang Yu's voice, stared at the Grey Wolf, and without saying a word, he used the flying catkins fist to hit him. Liang Yu looked at Wang Qi from a distance, nodded slightly and said to himself, the reaction speed is okay, strength is now his strong point. But this speed is really average. There is still a lot of room for improvement. After several times of Liang Yu's guidance, Wang Qi's attacks became more and more skilled. It only took a few moves to catch the flaws of these wild boars and grey wolves and kill them with one blow. Too easy. A few minutes later, only Wang Qi's heavy breathing was left on the battlefield. In the previous battle, Wang Qi consumed a lot of physical strength, which made him a little unable to support it, but the harvest was also very huge. The attribute value increased by 23 points, and he also obtained more than 20,000 alliance coins. The attribute distribution is completed, and this time it is mainly distributed on physique and speed. Host. Wang Qi. Level. Warrior level 6. Kung Fu. Basic bodybuilding level 2, 7/100ths. Skill. Flying Catkins. Proficiency 174 200th. Skill damage 150%. Strength. 64. Physique. 40. Speed. 30. Spirit. 2. Attribute points. None. Wealth. 37,200. Equipment. Fine iron fist gloves. The huge improvement made Wang Qi feel very comfortable, and the physical strength that was originally consumed was also recovering rapidly. Wang Qi thought to himself, this improvement in physical fitness and speed is more related to the comprehensive quality in battle. If I am not completely overwhelmed by strength, these two data are still very important in battle. Recalling the mistakes in the battle just now, Wang Qi summed up a lot of experience. If he encounters these beasts again next time, his speed will be even higher. In addition to the improvement of attributes, Wang Qi's strength has been greatly enhanced. The proficiency of Feishu Fist has also increased a lot, and he is about to break through the 3rd level. Sure enough, fighting is the fastest way to improve. While Wang Qi was resting, Liang Yu jumped lightly and landed on the ground. The training clothes on his body were blown gently. With a hint of appreciation in his expression, he walked to Wang Qi with his hands behind his back and exclaimed, "Not bad. Take a short break, let's continue." Wang Qi just raised his head and wanted to say something after listening to the other party's praise, but was frightened by Liang Yu's next words. Taking off the boxing gloves, Wang Qi reached out and touched the sweat on his forehead. Somewhat helplessly, he replied, "Instructor Liang, there is no need to rest, let's continue. It is better to suffer a short pain than a long pain. Anyway, sooner or later, I will continue to hunt wild beasts. Now my physical strength has recovered a lot, so I don't waste time." Liang Yu looked at Wang Qi in surprise and asked, "Can you hold on?" She looked doubtful. With Wang Qi's current strength, he should be very tired after the battle. He actually wanted to continue hunting beasts without resting. This was beyond Liang Yu's expectation. "No problem." Wang Qi grinned, and with a hint of blood in the air, he looked a little creepy. As soon as Wang Qi finished speaking, he saw Liang Yu's figure moving, and the beast corpses on the ground disappeared one by one, leaving only blood on the ground. "In that case, let's go. Follow me." Liang Yu, who had collected the beast corpses, jumped again and stood on a high place, his eyes constantly scanning the surroundings. Wang Qi hurriedly followed behind. The density of beasts was a bit beyond Wang Qi's imagination. Before walking 100 meters, a huge open space appeared in the distance, like a plain, in the middle of which there was a group of creatures exactly the same as the wild boars that had just been hunted. But this time the number was even more than hundreds. The huge number was accompanied by a strong stench that kept drilling into Wang Qi's nasal cavity, making Wang Qi feel a little nauseous. He shrugged his nose and took 2 deep breaths of air, trying to quickly adapt to the smell. This time, the wild boars were not only numerous but also larger in size. Some of them were twice the size of the wild boars next to them, and they had 2 sharp teeth in their mouths that were as long as human forearms. At this time, the largest wild boars seemed to be fighting for something, and they were fighting fiercely in groups of 2. The wild boars around them were howling excitedly. "I'm so lucky to meet this group of wild beasts fighting for the position of leader. Wang Qi, you're going to have fun." Liang Yu was also standing beside Wang Qi at this time, with a rare smile on her cold face, as if she was looking forward to what would happen next. But Wang Qi was about to cry in his heart. Although he wanted to hunt wild beasts to gain attribute points, he had to be able to kill them himself. The dozen or so just now had exhausted him half to death. Now these hundreds of them seemed to be stronger than the wild boars just now. How could he be their opponent? "Instructor, what are the strengths of these wild boars?" Wang Qi asked Liang Yu, wanting to find out the strength of these wild boars and measure whether he could beat them. Liang Yu did not answer Wang Qi's words, but suddenly turned into a shadow and rushed towards the beasts in front. In less than a breath, Liang Yu grabbed the hind leg of a wild boar in his hand and threw it towards Wang Qi fiercely. The huge wild boar hit the ground with a bang, and smashed the nearby weeds into a huge pit. The wild boar felt pain, groaned twice, and climbed up from the ground to a height of more than 1 meter. Wang Qi felt the vibration under his feet just now, and he realized that the strength of this wild boar was definitely stronger than those he had just killed. Moreover, the mouth of this wild boar had 2 sharp teeth, which were white and smooth, but they looked particularly ferocious when they grew in an inappropriate place. At this time, the wild boar did not understand what was happening. Suddenly, it was thrown to the ground by someone, and saw Wang Qi standing not far away. It howled angrily and rushed towards Wang Qi. The violent vibration made Wang Qi shocked. "Wang Qi, this is a wild boar of level 7 warrior, much stronger than the ones just now, you have to take it seriously. There are hundreds of them waiting for you later." While Wang Qi was preparing for the battle, he listened to the voice of instructor Liang Yu and immediately understood that the strength of this wild boar had reached the level of warrior 7. Wild boars are not only strong, but also have extremely high defense with their pork, and they also have extremely aggressive fangs, which are extremely dangerous. Wang Qi greeted the impact of the wild boar with his fists, but at the moment of contact, Wang Qi staggered and stepped back dozens of steps in a row, almost flying out. The power was too strong. It was not something he could resist at all now. But there was no way. Wang Qi no longer fought hard, so he had to keep dodging, looking for opportunities to take the opportunity to hit the wild boar's head hard with the flying catkins fist. The beast attacked instinctively, giving Wang Qi more breathing space. The wild boar failed to kill Wang Qi after dozens of attacks, opened its mouth and roared, and its speed increased a few points. It kept trying to use its sharp teeth to punch a hole through Wang Qi. What should I do? Wang Qi was anxious and kept fighting against the wild boar. The powerful force made Wang Qi's arm numb. With the bonus of Feishu Fist and the power of the boxing gloves, it was only the strength of 100 people, while the strength of this wild boar was as much as 128 people. At this time, ding, the level of Feishu Fist has been upgraded. Wang Qi quickly glanced at the attribute panel. Skill, Feishu Fist. Proficiency 0 1000th skill damage 200%. Ha ha ha, Wang Qi laughed in his heart, it was really God's help. The level of Feishu Fist has been upgraded again, and now the power bonus can catch up with this wild boar. This time, Wang Qi did not passively resist, but directly used the Flying Fist to attack fiercely. The Flying Fist seemed to increase the body's strength to the limit. Wang Qi punched out and this time he tied with the wild boar. However, the wild boar, which had been hit several times by Wang Qi, howled and was severely injured in the head by Wang Qi. This punch further aroused the wild boar's ferocity. Liang Yu, who was far away, saw this and stared at the cold expression on Wang Qi's face. He was a little unnatural. How is this possible? The Flying Fist has been practiced to a higher level and can exert twice the power. He disdained the Flying Fist. After all, it was just the most basic boxing method, with limited room for improvement and too time-consuming. But he didn't expect that Wang Qi could practice it. How long has it been learned? 1 day, 2 days. What other surprises can you give me? I hope my choice is right. Liang Yu stood in the distance and watched Wang Qi's constantly attacking figure, muttering to himself. Wang Qi kept attacking, staring at one spot, the head of the wild boar. After nearly 100 attacks with his strength improved, the wild boar's head was bleeding, the skin was torn, and the bones inside were exposed. It's time to end it. I have figured out your attack method, prepare to die. With a low roar, Wang Qi dodged fiercely, jumped up and smashed the wild boar's skull with a punch. While the wild boar was injured and retreated, Wang Qi's fist was only faster than slow, and he hit its head with several punches, making it bloody. Boom! The huge body fell to the ground, stirring up countless dust. Ding! First kill of the 7th level beast attribute points plus 7 inches. Ding! Attribute points plus 0.7 alliance coins plus 700. Seeing that he finally killed the beast, Wang Qi stood beside the corpse, supporting his legs, and panting with some difficulty. He quickly added attribute points to strength. His strength just now was too weak. If it weren't for the breakthrough in boxing, I'm afraid this battle would still be an unknown. The wild boar has strong physical strength. If it's a battle of endurance, he is not a match. Only strong strength can break through the opponent's defense and kill it. This cross-level battle gave Wang Qi a clear understanding of his own strength and the direction of physical development. Only by strengthening strength first, and then assisting other attributes, can he improve himself comprehensively. In the future, I will give priority to strength attributes. That's it. If there are any special circumstances, I will consider other attributes. The gains from fighting are far more than just attribute points, there are also more combat experience. Otherwise, what's the use of having strength but not being able to use it? 2 consecutive battles made Wang Qi a little tired, and he sat on the ground to rest. Liang Yu also walked up to Wang Qi, stretched out his hand and handed Wang Qi a bottle of water, drink it. It helps to restore physical strength. Wang Qi looked at the bottled liquid in his hand with some surprise. It was blue all over, like sea water. He had never seen such a thing before. He didn't know what the instructor said that it could restore physical strength. It was indeed a little thirsty after such a long time. He unscrewed the bottle cap and drank it in a few gulps. It tasted sweet and not bad. Instructor Liang, what is this? Wang Qi licked his lips. After drinking it, he felt that his physical strength recovered faster. It seemed that there was still a lot of energy in it. The attribute points also increased by 0.1. If he didn't practice and just drank the beverage, 10 bottles would be 1 attribute, and 100 bottles would be 10 points. It's exciting to think about it. Energy drink. 1,000 alliance coins per bottle. Wang Qi's body stiffened immediately. So expensive. He looked at Liang Yu in disbelief. If he only drank this, it would be too expensive. In addition, this bottle of energy drink is about 500 milliliters. After 10 bottles, his stomach will burst. It's the same as eating the meat of wild animals. Low-level meat has less energy and more impurities. Eating more doesn't have many properties. It makes people feel bloated. Forget it. This is not a good method. This is too expensive. I will transfer the money to you in the evening, instructor. Wang Qi looked at Liang Yu a little embarrassed. He felt a little sorry for drinking a bottle of 1,000 alliance coins for no reason. No, you've rested enough, just get up and continue. There are still many wild boars waiting for you over there. Liang Yu shook his head and didn't take the 1,000 alliance coins to heart. He just looked at the wild boars in the distance with a little excitement. What do you mean by so many wild boars waiting for me? Wang Qi felt a little depressed. The instructor's words were really unbearable. 5 minutes later, I'll time you this time to see how long you can finish it. Before he finished speaking, Liang Yu threw another wild boar. The same action and the same landing posture, the wild boar still rushed towards Wang Qi angrily. But now Wang Qi is much stronger than last time, and he is not afraid at all. Just go up and do it. This type of wild boar attack method seems to be innate, and there is no change. Moreover, the attribute has been improved. Now the strength has doubled from 76 to 152 under the blessing of Feishu Fist, which has exceeded the standard of the 7th level of warriors. The direct confrontation suppressed the wild boar without any resistance. At the moment when the wild boar fell, Liang Yu's voice came over, 3 minutes and 21 seconds. Prepare for the next one. Without giving Wang Qi a chance to breathe, Liang Yu flashed and threw another wild boar. Constantly let Wang Qi hone his own fighting skills and reaction speed. Wang Qi is now very grateful to his instructor for his help. With him watching over him, he only needs to devote himself to the battle and constantly improve himself without worrying about any other things affecting him. Although it is the same wild boar and the attack mode is also very similar, but if one method is mastered, all methods are mastered. It is also very rare to have such a good opportunity to hone skills and continuously analyze and practice to improve his skills against the enemy. Seize every minute and every second. 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Not bad. Your strength and accuracy can be higher. If you can hit it with one shot, you can kill such a wild boar in seconds. Liang Yu looked at Wang Qi's rapid progress and sighed in her heart. Such talent is really rare. I haven't met another person as talented as you in these years. I hope that what I do can make you remember my kindness to you. Liang Yu thought secretly in her heart. Wang Qi also grinned happily at this time, and his thin face was covered with sweat. Continue to the next one. Continuous fighting and killing of wild beasts have greatly increased Wang Qi's attribute points. Finally, when he killed the 20th wild boar, Wang Qi was able to compress the time to kill the wild boar within 1 minute every time. Wang Qi's current attribute strength has increased a lot, from 76 to 90 points of strength attribute. Host, Wang Qi. Level, Warrior level 6. Skills, Basic Body Forging Method level 2, 7/100ths. Skills, Flying Catkin's Fist. Proficiency 55 1,000th skill damage 200%. Strength, 90. Constitution, 40. Speed, 30. Spirit, 2. Attribute points, none. Wealth, 51,900. Equipment, Fine Iron Fist Gloves. With the bonus of Flying Catkin's Fist, it can burst out the strength of 180 people at most. It has exceeded the warrior level 7 by a lot. The battle of these wild boars in the distance seemed to be coming to an end. A huge wild boar won the victory. Surrounded by a group of wild boars, it howled loudly on this vast plain. The wild boars around echoed one after another, as if complimenting their new leader. We have to speed up, Wang Qi. Next time we face 2 wild boars, get ready. Liang Yu put his hands behind his back and watched the battle of the beasts in the distance end. This meant that the group of wild boars was likely to leave. Then he turned his head and looked at Wang Qi with a hint of inquiry in his tone. In his opinion, Wang Qi should be able to deal with 2 wild boars at this moment, but considering the consumption of physical strength in a long-term battle, he had to hesitate. Seeing that Instructor Liang Yu was a little worried about his condition, Wang Qi smiled and said, Instructor Liang, if you bring a few more bottles of the energy drink just now, let alone 2, even if it is 3 or 4, I can continue to kill them. The drink just now not only tastes good, but also restores physical strength very quickly, not to mention that there are very few attribute points. Continuous fighting, the body's water is lost quickly with sweat, and thirst is very normal. Moreover, as long as your stomach can hold it, this energy drink is really the more the better. As soon as Wang Qi finished speaking, he saw Instructor Liang Yu throwing a blue square box over. Wang Qi took it and saw that the outer packaging was the energy drink he had just drunk. Drink as much as you want. Liang Yu's voice came and went. Wang Qi saw his instructor holding 2 wild boars in one hand, and he came to him in a few flashes and threw the 4 wild boars on the ground. Liang Yu looked at Wang Qi expressionlessly, then pointed at the wild boars on the ground and said, "Keep going. This instructor is really honest. There is no reason not to take the attribute points that are delivered to the door." While the wild animals have not reacted yet, and Instructor Liang just asked him to speed up, Wang Qi didn't care about honing his body in martial arts. He punched the 4 wild boars directly in the vital points with 3 or 2 punches. The 4 wild boars didn't understand what happened until they died. Liang Yu kept transporting the wild boars, while Wang Qi drank energy drinks on the one hand and didn't stop punching on the other hand. Chapter 51. After several rounds, the wild boar king who had just been immersed in joy seemed to find that his younger brothers were getting fewer and fewer. He turned his head and scanned the surroundings, and saw a human warrior constantly capturing his younger brothers. He rushed through the encirclement of other wild boars, howled and ran towards Wang Qi. The wild boars around seemed to have received some instructions. The scene of hundreds of pigs running was very spectacular, raising huge dust, deafening earth-shaking sounds rolled in, and the dry grass on the plain was crushed and disappeared. Wang Qi was a little flustered. He couldn't deal with so many wild boars. Especially the biggest wild boar in the front seemed to be more powerful, and he was afraid that he was not his opponent. Looking at Instructor Liang for help, Wang Qi shouted, "Instructor Liang, what should I do?" "Kill them all. What should I do?" Liang Yu snorted coldly, somewhat dissatisfied with Wang Qi's current performance. It was really embarrassing that he was at a loss with only 100 wild boars. "I'll help you hold the biggest one in the front, and you kill all the other minions." Liang Yu's tone was filled with a hint of killing intent towards wild animals, and her expression was cold. At the same time, she waved her hand, and a green light tripped the largest wild boar in the front in the distance. The wild boar formation in the back was disrupted by the sudden fall, and dozens of wild boars rolled on the ground. The giant wild boar wanted to struggle, but there was no way to break free from the green light that bound his limbs. "How can I deal with so many pigs?" Wang Qi secretly groaned in his heart. Wang Qi was secretly surprised by the green light. What kind of magical method is this? While thinking, dozens of wild boars have approached Wang Qi, and Wang Qi did not dare to face them head-on. He dodged several times in a row, trying to wait for an opportunity to kill these wild boars. "If you hide again, you won't have a chance to attack when all the wild boars are here." Liang Yu's voice reached Wang Qi's ears. While controlling the wild boar, he also observed Wang Qi's movements and pointed out Wang Qi's mistakes, telling him not to hide. Wang Qi's current situation is indeed as Liang Yu said. Time waits for no one. If he continues to dawdle, he will face not only the vanguard troops, but hundreds of wild boars at once. Hearing Liang Yu's words, Wang Qi, who originally wanted to dodge, suddenly rushed towards the wild boar. Wang Qi was highly focused at this time, trying to control his fists and accurately hit the target with the most powerful attack, trying to kill it with one blow. After killing a wild boar, Wang Qi jumped on the wild boar's body, and attacked the wild boar again with the help of his body's movement. Time passed in a flash. Wang Qi kept attacking and moving. After killing more than a dozen wild boars, Wang Qi was able to find his target well and use Feishu Fist to kill accurately with one blow. At the same time, the rear troops of the wild boar had also arrived. Wang Qi, who was bloodthirsty, also roared, fearless. He quickly added all the 12 attributes he had just obtained to his strength. He rushed into the wild boars, attacking and dodging continuously. The further improvement of his strength made Wang Qi's fists more lethal. In the continuous battle just now, Wang Qi had already figured out the attack routines of the wild boars. In the dodging, the wild boars couldn't even touch the corner of Wang Qi's clothes. But even if Wang Qi could kill them with one blow, he couldn't withstand the continuous attacks of hundreds of wild beasts. After killing a small half of the wild boars, even if he drank a few bottles of energy drinks and increased a lot of physical attributes, he couldn't restore Wang Qi's physical strength, and his speed became slower and slower. In these short 10 minutes, Wang Qi tried his best to exert his state to the extreme, and now he has reached the situation of running out of energy. He shouted, "Instructor Liang! I can't bear it anymore." I saw Liang Yu flying in the distance, with a graceful figure. There was a green light on the fist of his right hand. It seemed to hit the center of the remaining wild boars with great ease. But after this seemingly light punch touched the ground, a green wave suddenly spread out along Liang Yu as the center, just like a stone splashing into the sea in splashing circles of waves. The terrifying air wave came into Wang Qi's ears with a whistling sound. The nearly 100 wild boars around were instantly shocked to death. Seeing that the green wave was about to come to him, Wang Qi subconsciously stretched out his hand to block it, but found that the green wave stopped not far in front. This kind of strength is really strong. Wang Qi admired it very much. Whether it was the powerful attack power or the perfect control of his own strength, Liang Yu's image and strength in Wang Qi's mind became stronger and stronger at this time. It was a pity that so many attribute points were wasted. Wang Qi sighed secretly and felt a little sorry. Forget it, don't think about it. The gains just now are also very strong. After adding the remaining few attribute points to strength, Wang Qi also recovered some physical strength in this short time. He stood up and walked towards Liang Yu. "Instructor, why does your attack still have color?" Wang Qi asked in confusion. Instructor Liang looked too powerful just now, and the blue light attached to the attack looked even more powerful. This is called true qi. Liang Yu glanced at Wang Qi speechlessly, and his cold expression twitched a little. This guy really knows nothing and has no martial arts knowledge at all. Don't be so ambitious all day long, thinking so much, it's still very far away for you. Wang Qi found that Instructor Liang Yu seemed to have misunderstood his meaning, and explained, "Instructor Liang, I am yearning for and curious about powerful strength, not aiming too high." The two are not the same concept at all. Liang Yu didn't care about Wang Qi's explanation, and walked around to put the beast corpses on the ground into the storage space. Wang Qi looked at the two rings on Liang Yu's hands. They looked very handsome. He was curious and pointed at the rings and said, "Instructor Liang, is the ring on your hand a storage space?" "It's so handsome." "Storage space, the ring shape is just one of them. It's more convenient to carry. It depends on your personal preference." After Liang Yu collected the beast corpse, he looked at Wang Qi and said, "There are also bracelets, belts, packages and other forms. If you want, I will give you a storage ring when you break through the warrior level." Really? Hearing that Instructor Liang was going to give him a storage ring, Wang Qi stood up excitedly. He remembered the magical function of the storage space, which was very convenient. It would be very convenient for him to hunt beasts in the future. But when he thought of the expensive price of the storage ring, Wang Qi shook his head again. "Forget it, it's too expensive. I can't take your things for free." The two didn't say anything more. They just sat there quietly. Wang Qi was trying to recover his strength. This battle just now gave Wang Qi 47 attribute points. Except for the 10 points of physical attribute added when he wanted to recover his physical strength when he was exhausted, all the others were added to the strength attribute. Host: Wang Qi. Level: Warrior level 7. Skill: Basic Body Forging Method level 2, 7/100. Skill: Flying Catkin's Fist. Proficiency 112 1,000th. Skill damage 200%. Strength: 127. Physical fitness: 50. Speed: 30. Spirit: 2. Attribute points: none. Wealth: 83,600. Equipment: fine iron fist gloves. He also obtained more than 30,000 alliance coins. Wang Qi is now a wealthy man. But how to take out these alliance coins? This needs to be studied. If the current strength is used to burst out with the flying Catkin's fist, it will be close to the strength of 254 people, 25,400 kilograms of strength. It was too powerful. Wang Qi was excited. He had never thought of such power. In the past, he had only heard that warriors were powerful. Now he could only understand the meaning of it by experiencing it personally. Wang Qi's face was shining with excitement. The physical strength he had just consumed was also quickly restored in this excitement. Nearly half an hour later. Have you rested well? The biggest wild boar over there is still waiting for you. Liang Yu stood aside, shook off the dust on his body that had just sat on the ground, looked at the wild boar leader who was no longer struggling in the distance, and said to Wang Qi. Wang Qi was a little confused. Weren't they all killed by the instructor just now? There was still one left. Then he stood up and looked along Liang Yu's gaze. The wild boar leader tied to the ground seemed to be exhausted and had no power to resist. Go. As soon as the voice fell, Liang Yu casually retracted the green light that trapped the wild boar. The wild boar lying on the ground in the distance also realized that it could resume its actions, turned over and looked at Wang Qi and the others viciously. But just when Wang Qi was ready for battle, the wild boar leader on the opposite side turned his fat body to escape. Wang Qi was very surprised. He could not beat him and actually ran away. The wild boar's IQ was quite good. The four hooves kicked the ground, leaving Wang Qi no chance to hesitate, and ran away with a cloud of dust. Wang Qi felt a little embarrassed when he saw this. The instructor asked him to kill the wild boar. If he let it run away, it would be a shame. Throwing down the energy drink bottle in his hand, Wang Qi also ran out fiercely. Although the wild boar was fat, its speed was not slow at all at this time. Wang Qi couldn't catch up for a while. This made Wang Qi even more anxious. How stupid. You keep dawdling, I see how you can catch up. Liang Yu shouted angrily in the distance, with a very cold tone, and followed in 3 or 2 steps. The wild boar ran all the way, and the green light in Liang Yu's hand flashed, and the huge body of the wild boar flew upside down. Liang Yu actually pulled the wild boar back. It landed straight in front of Wang Qi. This wild boar was extremely unlucky. If it was only Wang Qi, he might have escaped today and saved his life. Wang Qi used Feishu Fist, and burst out with a powerful force close to the 8th level of warrior. The fist carrying 25,400 kilograms and the strength of 254 people hit the wild boar's head on the ground. It smashed one of its ears to pieces. The wild boar wailed in pain, opened its mouth with a fishy smell, and bit Wang Qi's arm fiercely. Wang Qi hurriedly stepped back a few steps, and the sharp fangs scratched Wang Qi's sleeves and directly cut a gap. So sharp, it just touched and tore his clothes. If it scratched his body, it would probably be torn. Wang Qi was scared. With a trace of ruthless killing intent on his face, Wang Qi rushed forward again, looking at the wild boar whose ears had been broken by him. The fight would not end until death. The strength of this wild boar far exceeded those killed by Wang Qi just now, and the two were once again in a situation of equal strength. Take advantage of your weakness to kill you. Wang Qi's fists kept hitting the wild boar's injured ear. With the wound, Wang Qi's fists could cause greater damage. The wound kept tearing. The boxing gloves on Wang Qi's hands were also soaked with blood. The wild boar was even more miserable at this time. The wound on the ear had been enlarged several times by Wang Qi's attack. The blood flowed from the pig's mouth to the teeth, and the bright red lines were scattered on the white fangs, which made it even more ferocious. The sound of grunting kept coming. The loss of a large amount of blood reduced the strength of the wild boar a lot. It didn't have the strong power and reaction speed as before. Die! Wang Qi roared, and punched the pig's face several times in a row, making it bloody. Ding! First kill of level 8 beast attribute points plus 8. Ding! Attribute points plus 0.8, alliance coins plus 800. The system prompt also means that Wang Qi won the battle. Not bad. This wild boar has been injured a lot in the battle with other wild boars just now. You can kill it. The attack ability has reached the level of a warrior of level 8. Liang Yu stood aside and analyzed Wang Qi's battle. But you are only very strong, but your other physical qualities are not matched at all. It's really strange. Wang Qi's attack power was indeed very strong in the battle just now, but there are many factors that affect the comprehensive strength of a warrior, and Liang Yu was very confused. Panting heavily, Wang Qi stood aside and constantly adjusted his breathing, trying to calm down as soon as possible. I know my physical fitness very well. The extreme route I am taking now will make progress very slowly if I develop on average. But he couldn't tell the truth about his situation. Wang Qi had no choice but to lower his head and listen carefully to Liang Yu's words as if he was following the instructions. After using the attribute points he had just obtained to increase his strength, Wang Qi directly broke through the 7th level of warrior strength. Host: Wang Qi. Level: Warrior level 7. Kung Fu: the 2nd level of basic body training, 7/100. Skill: Flying Fist. Proficiency 122 1,000th. Skill damage 200%. Strength: 134. Constitution: 50. Speed: 30. Spirit: 2. Attribute points: none. Wealth: 83,600. Equipment: fine iron fist gloves. The ultimate strength can be comparable to the strength of a first-time warrior at the 8th level. Beep, beep, beep. A burst of rapid chirping came from the watch on Liang Yu's wrist. Liang Yu stretched out her hand and pressed it and heard the hurried voice of Instructor Lu coming from inside, accompanied by the howls of many wild beasts. Liang Yu, come here to support us. We encountered a large number of beasts, including dozens of first-level monsters. I can't resist it alone. Hurry. Hearing this, Wang Qi didn't care to look at the watch on the instructor's wrist, and looked at Liang Yu nervously. Position. Liang Yu spat out 2 words coldly, grabbed Wang Qi and started to move. The place where we just dispersed is about 2 kilometers to the west. Come quickly. Instructor Lu's voice was urgent, as if he was facing huge difficulties. Wang Qi was once again lifted up by his collar and moved quickly. Wang Qi quickly grabbed Liang Yu's clothes, worried that he would fall from Liang Yu's hands. The speed this time far exceeded the speed that Instructor Lu caught and ran yesterday. Instructor, can the 2 of us go over there? Wang Qi shouted loudly amidst the howling wind. Instructor Lu and dozens of members of the hunting team were in a critical situation at this time, but with their strength, they didn't know if they could turn the situation around and rescue the members of the Baiyu Martial Arts School. But Liang Yu didn't answer Wang Qi, but her feet were a little faster. In the surrounding plains, the trees became a blur. Hey, how come there are no attribute points dropped from Instructor Liang's body today? It's strange. Moving quickly, Wang Qi did not find the shadow of the attribute light ball. He felt a little strange. He had obtained many attribute points from Instructor Liang Yu before. There are few attribute points, but nothing was found today. While he was thinking, a group of huge beasts came into Wang Qi's sight. Instructor, there they are. Wang Qi stretched out his hand and pointed. In the distance, the figure of Instructor Lu was fighting several huge beasts. There were terrifying fluctuations all over his body, as if they were airwaves generated by the collision of forces. Countless trees as tall as a man were destroyed by the huge impact of the battle, and sawdust flew away. Some were even broken directly at the waist, revealing sharp wooden thorns. On the other side, dozens of members of the senior hunting group were struggling to resist the beast, but they seemed to be struggling. They kept retreating and attacking, and they were somewhat unable to resist. A weaker member of the hunting team was knocked out violently, and the beast immediately pounced on him, trying to tear him apart and devour him. Seeing this, another team member quickly came to help, knocking the beast back with a sharp chop. Such an action angered the beast even more, and it roared and fought with the team member. Liang Yu dodged a few times and threw Wang Qi to the group of hunting team members. You go help them. I'll support the bald head. Several team members near Wang Qi saw someone coming and shouted, Brother, help, why are you the only one? They thought support had arrived, but unexpectedly only one came. It's like I've never seen it before. One of them cut off the beast's head with a sharp knife, and ducked to Wang Qi's side and said, These are beasts of the 8th level of warriors. What level are you? If you are not strong enough, don't cause trouble here. There are several warriors over there. 7th level junior brother, go and join them. The minimum admission standard for the advanced hunting group is warrior level 7. This man has never met Wang Qi, so he doesn't know what his strength is. The beasts kept attacking, not giving the hunting team members much time to breathe. Just as the muscular hunting team member finished speaking, another beast attacked, and he could no longer care about Wang Qi. Looking at the direction of the senior brother's finger just now, Wang Qi rushed over without hesitation to save people. Hunt wild beasts. It is a little difficult for an 8th level warrior to deal with a beast on his own, but a 7th level warrior can basically kill it instantly with his powerful strength. With Wang Qi joining the battle, the pressure on these 7th-level warrior hunting team members was suddenly reduced. The beasts of the 7th-level warrior were like ripe watermelons in Wang Qi's hands, exploding in the shadow of Wang Qi's constantly flickering fists. Senior brother, you are so powerful. This mastiff, a 7th-level warrior, was killed so easily by you. Why haven't I seen you before? One of the young men looked at Wang Qi's powerful strength, his eyes filled with excitement. The light of envy and adoration. Wang Qi, who was still killing the beasts, smiled modestly and did not answer. He just kept attacking the beasts in front of him. You have never seen me, and I have not seen you, Wang Qi thought in his heart. These people were not the same people who were in the same car as Wang Qi just now, so they had no impression at all. More than a dozen beasts with 7th-level warriors were quickly killed by Wang Qi. Contributed 12 attribute points. Ding, strength plus 12 inches. With all the strength added, Wang Qi shouted to these people, continue to kill the enemy. Go and help the other brothers and sisters. Around Wang Qi and the others, there were many students from the Baiyu Martial Arts School who were fighting. At this time, he was fighting hard. Okay, let's fight with our senior brother. Another young man, Nian, was also extremely excited. With his senior brother's strength, these beasts are nothing to mention. These people seemed to be older than Wang Qi, but because Wang Qi was stronger than them, they all thought they were their senior brothers. Wang Qi felt a little embarrassed when he heard the shouts of their senior brothers. But it still feels great. He was very happy to be called a respectful name in his heart, but his expression was very calm. This appearance further deepened Wang Qi's image in the minds of these members. He hunted wild beasts, his face didn't turn red, his heart didn't beat, and he was very powerful. His senior brother was indeed not comparable to them. Wang Qi's figure kept moving around these martial arts members, and the attributes that had just been dropped from these people had not yet been picked up. After a round, Wang Qi gained another 37 attribute points. The senior students in this group of martial arts schools were very powerful. Most of the attribute points picked up were 0.7, 0.8, and there were even a few 0.9 attribute points. I also have a full understanding of the strength of these people. The strongest members even had more than one block. After Wang Qi added all these to his own strength had reached 183 people. The all-out explosion has exceeded the strength of a first-time warrior at the 8th level. Killing the beasts was even easier. The hunting members, who were originally at a disadvantage, gradually turned the situation around with the help of Wang Qi's constant shuttle. They counterattacked the remaining beasts. The number of low-level beasts was getting smaller and smaller. Now there were only a dozen level 8 beasts and 5 beasts that seemed to have reached level 9 on the battlefield. They were exhausted from dealing with the siege of the crowd and were defeated again and again. At this time, Wang Qi's eyes kept staring at the beasts fought by the strongest students in the entire hunting group. One of them was Fang Lei, who had met Wang Qi several times. Unexpectedly, this woman's strength was so strong. No wonder she could become the leader of the hunting group. Wang Qi was a little worried that joining in rashly would affect others' performance. Wang Qi thought to himself, I'm not very familiar with these people. Let's go over and see if Fang Lei needs help. The other level 8 beasts made it impossible for these martial arts students to kill them for a while, so it's better to take the opportunity to get the first kill reward of the warrior's level 9 beast. With a plan in mind, Wang Qi tiptoed towards the location where Fang Lei was fighting. However, the battle scene ahead was Fang Lei suppressing the huge mastiff and forcing it to retreat repeatedly. Fang Lei took this opportunity to hone her martial arts skills and played the mastiff around. But Wang Qi was unwilling to miss this opportunity and asked quietly, Sister Fang, do you need help? Fang Lei even sneered when she heard the voice, which of your eyes can see that I need help? She took the time to glance at Wang Qi and continued, if it weren't for the other team members to deal with it just now, for the sake of safety, I would help them kill them. I've killed a lot of wild beasts, and now I finally have a chance to hone my martial arts skills. Do you need your help? He secretly regretted that he didn't know if he would have a chance to kill a beast at the 9th level next time he met a warrior. He was unwilling to give in. Wang Qi stared at the huge mastiff and saw that its body was covered with the long knife in Fang Lei's hand. The scars left behind have dyed the gray fur red. I also want to hone my martial arts skills. Senior sister, can you give me a chance? Wang Qi chuckled. The smile on his face was a bit flattering. He wanted to join the battle in a different way. The reward for this first kill is really attractive. Wang Qi had to do this. You're such an interesting guy. Don't scare this 9th level beast into peeing your pants. Fang Lei felt funny. It's rare to meet a guy like Wang Qi who dares to face high-level beasts. Other martial artists, it is already very good for members of the gym to fight head-on with beasts of the same level. Don't we have to rely on senior sister Fang to suppress him? I can use my fists and kicks. Seeing that Fang Lei's tone was a little loose, Wang Qi even loudly praised Fang Lei's strength. Although he didn't say it clearly, the meaning of his words was already there. A touching smile appeared on Fang Lei's face. With a fierce blow, the mastiff on the opposite side was knocked to the ground. Fang Lei stood aside with a long knife in one hand and pointed at the mastiff on the ground. She looked at Wang Qi with a smile and said, "Come on." He didn't take the mastiff in front of him seriously at all. The other martial arts students looked at Wang Qi's actions with a somewhat teasing tone. Wang Qi was a very strong guy just now and helped them deal with many beasts, but now Wang Qi actually wants to participate in a battle with level 9 beasts. Before it seems that some of them are like knocking an egg against a stone. Wang Qi, you'd better save yourself, don't let the mastiff bite you on the butt. Ha ha, one of the martial arts students shouted, and the others also cheered loudly and laughed when they heard it. Now that the beast is almost solved, they can breathe a sigh of relief and take the opportunity to improve their mood. You guys are short-sighted, Wang Qi retorted unceremoniously. After experiencing the battle just now, the relationship between Wang Qi and these students has become much closer. It can be heard that these people are just driving their own guns. Joke. Senior Sister Fang, you have to let Wang Qi know what a level 9 beast is, lest he suffer a big loss in the future, ha 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 ha. As soon as these words came out, there was another burst of laughter. Fang Lei was listening to the other members of the hunting team constantly teasing Wang Qi with an unconcerned expression on her face. Martial arts training is all about facing up to difficulties. On the contrary, she admired Wang Qi's aggressive temperament. Let's get started. Other side. Liang Yu, you have actually cultivated Junqi. Have you already entered the realm of martial arts? Bald instructor Lu was standing next to a monster beast that had just lost its life breath, with a look of shock on his fierce face. Looking at Liang Yu on the side. In the battle just now, dozens of first-level monsters were instantly killed by Liang Yu without any need to take action himself, and there was a cyan light in the attack, which was obviously a sign of the realm of a martial artist who had cultivated Junqi. Liang Yu nodded gently and answered instructor Lu's question. Suddenly, there was a rustling sound in the distance, as if it was the sound of something moving in the grass. Who? Liang Yu turned her head fiercely and looked at the grass in the distance. The cyan light burst out from her hand, causing a grass in the distance to explode. Far away from the explosion, two figures flashed quickly, avoiding Liang Yu's attack. Seeing this, Liang Yu and the two looked at each other, stamped their feet on the ground and chased after them. The two people who were almost attacked just now are constantly communicating. Strong martial artist, this operation failed, retreat quickly. Otherwise, your identity will be exposed. One of the men who seemed to be the leader said to the other. The two of them were dressed in cyan training uniforms, and they were full of powerful momentum. They ran extremely fast, and they threw away Liang Yu and the two behind them in the blink of an eye. Baiyu Martial Arts School, didn't they say that their female gym leader is the only one with a martial arts master level? Another person's face was full of doubts, and he didn't understand why their information was wrong. Stop being so nagging, just go back and report it truthfully. The two of them ran away and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Liang Yu, who was in the distance, looked at the two people's retreating figures and stopped helplessly. There's no need to chase them. These two people are very strong and we can't catch them, Liang Yu said coldly, with a thoughtful look in her eyes. Bald instructor Lu looked even more angry and said angrily, who are these people? Did they bring these beasts? If you hadn't been with me today, I'm afraid I would have ended up here. Liang Yu, I won't thank you for your kindness. I, Lao Lu, will remember this. After saying that, he bowed to Liang Yu. The dangerous thing in today's situation is not the wild beasts, but the enemies hiding in the dark. You don't know when they will give you a fatal blow. Looking at the clothes of the two people, if I guessed correctly, they should be from Qinghong Martial Arts School. Liang Yu sounded a little doubtful. The clothes of these two people should be the clothes worn by the instructors of Qinghong Martial Arts School, but it cannot be ruled out. Someone framed the blame. Or is it someone who is hunting me? Another possibility came to mind. Liang Yu exuded a strong murderous aura. It shouldn't be. Although this kind of strength is stronger than mine, it is impossible for him to kill me. Whether it is against me or Baiyu Martial Arts School, this kind of thing cannot be ignored. The murderous intent permeated the air. Instructor Lu felt that Liang Yu's murderous eyes were a little incredible. He thought to himself, with strong strength, this murderous aura is so strong. Liang Yu's presence in the martial arts school was very low before. He just had a bad temper and often had friction with me, but it was all for the martial arts school. Now Liang Yu's performance was a bit beyond his expectations. It would be better to pay more attention to it in the future. Qinghong Martial Arts School, one of the 3 major martial arts schools in Yongfeng Town. We have no conflict with them. Liang Yu's suspected target made Instructor Lu a little confused. Although the clothes on his body were very similar, there had been no friction between the 3 major martial arts schools and other small martial arts schools. Moreover, if the practitioners with strength and background basically go to the 3 major martial arts schools, instead of choosing to sign up for small martial arts schools with poor overall strength like them. This also led to the 3 major martial arts schools becoming stronger and stronger, and the maintenance of other martial arts schools became more difficult. If it weren't for the vast terrain and the huge area in the wild, these small martial arts schools similar to Baiyu Martial Arts School would have no chance of survival. Let's go. Let's talk about this when we get back. Let's go see how the students are doing. Okay, this Qinghong Martial Arts School is much stronger than us. If they really attack us, I'm afraid our Baiyu Martial Arts School won't be able to withstand it. Instructor Lu, the bald head, ran all the way, not forgetting to tell Liang Yu who was beside him that he was idea. There was still a trace of sadness on his face. Let's see what the owner decides. Liang Yu replied calmly. Thinking of the 2 people who had just been hiding in the dark, I thought, my strength has declined, and my vigilance has also dropped too much. I don't know when I will be able to return to my peak, or even go further. The 2 of them were very fast. These 2 groups of hunting students seemed to have pretty good combat capabilities. The 2 of them arrived near where Wang Qi and the others were fighting, and looked at the corpses of many beasts that had been killed in the distance. Instructor Lu showed a relieved smile on his face. Fang Lei, how is your battle going? Instructor Lu came up and asked Fang Lei, the leader of the senior hunting group. At the same time, he kept scanning the surrounding situation to see if there were any casualties. Report to Instructor Lu. There are 34 people in the hunting group, 6 were slightly injured, and none were dead or seriously injured. All the beasts just now have been killed. While he was resting and chatting with his junior brothers, he heard his instructor coming back, and asked about the battle situation. Fang Lei quickly stood up, inserted the long knife into the ground, and reported the battle situation just now with an excited face. Not bad, not bad. When the bald instructor Lu heard this, a satisfied smile suddenly appeared on his face. Okay, have you completed today's mission? Hearing what Instructor Lu said, a member of the hunting team immediately started complaining, Instructor, it's not that we won't finish. The wave of high-level beasts we just killed have exhausted us. Basically, all the hunted animals today are high-level beasts. If we hadn't been hunting in the wild all day and were so powerful, I'm afraid our lives would have been lost today. We didn't see many mid-level beasts in the mission you set. Instructor Lu glared at the member when he heard this. He was so frightened that the man immediately shrank his neck and did not dare to speak anymore. Then he said to them, today's situation is different from expected. If you can't kill the intermediate beast, just follow the high-level beast method. Lei, please calculate how many high-level beasts you need to hunt according to the redemption of hunting points. After thinking for a while, Fang Lei replied, report to the instructor. 50 level 7 beasts, 25 level 8 beasts, and 13 level 9 beasts. Upon hearing this, the hunting team members around them quickly glanced around, probably counting the number of beasts they had just killed, and all of them looked happy. Instructor, the number of level 9 beasts is still 7, but the number of level 7 and 8 beasts we hunted far exceeds the mission target. Just after the battle, Fang Lei had already counted the harvest of the battle, and the number of level 9 beasts only the 4 strongest of them could kill them. In addition, there were not many 9th level beasts, so the mission of the 9th level beasts was not completed. Okay, now rest where you were and let's continue in the afternoon. Instructor Lu's fierce face still had a serious expression, but he was also very happy in his heart. I thought in my mind, these hunting group students have continuously improved themselves by hunting wild beasts from the junior group to the advanced group. They all have strong combat capabilities. Although it is difficult to fight beyond the level, they are still very good at dealing with beasts of the same level. These people from now on, he will be the mainstay of Baiyu Martial Arts School. Wang Qi on the side also walked up to Instructor Liang Yu. Instructor. Liang Yu nodded and said to Wang Qi, let's take a break too. We will continue in the afternoon. She did not ask how many beasts Wang Qi had killed in the battle with these team members just now. 2 floor mats appeared. Sit down. Wang Qi looked at Liang Yu with envy. The storage space was really useful. Before Wang Qi could react, Liang Yu reached out and waved a pile of delicious food in front of Wang Qi. Liang Yu, your storage space does not contain wild beast carcasses, but you actually pack these things. Bald Instructor Lu seemed to be unable to believe his eyes, and his tone was full of surprise. He could only carry so many wild beast carcasses. The most important things are put back, and the others can only be left in the wilderness. The original hunting results every day are probably not 1/10 of what they were this morning. The storage space distributed by the martial arts school can still hold them, but now the number of wild beasts has increased dramatically, and there is no way to bring them all back. I am worried that I have no place to put them. How can you, Liang Yu, still hold so much food in your storage space? I have too, can't I? Liang Yu's face was cold with a hint of disdain, and she didn't even look at Instructor Lu. Wang Qi found it funny. I have 2 and you have 1, how can you still control me? Ha ha ha. Eat. Liang Yu pointed at the food and said to Wang Qi and the hunting team members over there. These students who had been fighting all morning were already very hungry and needed to eat something to replenish their energy. When they heard Liang Yu's words, they immediately gathered around. Thank you, Instructor Liang. Just when these team members were about to come over for a feast, they heard, what are you doing? They don't look good at all. Line up and come one by one. Bald Instructor Lu stood aside and looked at these people with a stern expression. But he was the first to step forward and take away a lot of food, and then went to the side to feast. The surrounding members of the hunting group looked with contempt on their faces. Wang Qi also picked up a portion and ate it. The battle at noon made him gain a lot. The rapid increase in strength made Wang Qi feel a little dazed. When he just fought with the 9th level beast, although senior sister Fang was holding the battle beside him, and the beast was seriously injured, even so, he was no match for the beast. With a few moves, he was defeated. At this time, I realized that although my strength has increased a lot and I have no problem facing the level 8 beast, I am far from being a match for the level 9 beast. I am too arrogant, so I have to join hands with Sister Fang to kill it at the last moment and get the first kill of the level 9 beast. If I challenge it rashly, I am afraid I will die without knowing how. Host. Wang Qi. Level. Warrior level 7. Skill. Basic body forging method level 2, 7/100ths. Skill. Flying Catkin's Fist. Proficiency 231 1,000th. Skill damage 200%. Strength. 211. Constitution. 50. Speed. 30. Spirit. 2. Attribute points. None. Wealth. 120,600. Equipment. Fine iron fist gloves. Looking at my current attributes, I can burst out the strength of 422 people, and I am almost close to the entry standard of the warrior level 9. Now my strength can kill most level 8 beasts, but if there is a beast that is about to break through the level 9, Wang Qi's strength is still a little short. Wang Qi was a little confused by the change in attributes. Logically, his power was the highest now, and the others were slightly weaker, but why was the impact not that big in the battle? If his physique was not good enough, wouldn't he be injured by the huge force? Could it be the system's effect? Wang Qi thought to himself. Let's see later. However, it feels so good to have 120,000 alliance coins. But how to spend it? Wang Qi had so much money for the first time in so many years, and he couldn't think of how to use it for a while. By the way, I heard from the instructor that a storage ring costs tens of millions of alliance coins. Alas, I should save money. Wang Qi smiled bitterly in his heart. If he hadn't started practicing, this money would only improve his living conditions. But now everything has to be used to assist his practice. The bottle of drink just now costs 1,000 alliance coins. Thinking carefully, this money is really useless. Then he didn't think about it and lay on the ground to rest. The two instructors were patrolling around to protect the safety of these senior hunting team members. At this time, a noisy sound came from a distance, and it seemed that there were dozens of people. Wang Qi stood up to see what was going on. Not far away, he saw Instructor Lu walking over. He seemed to be talking about something. Judging from their clothes, they seemed to be members of the Baiyu Martial Arts School. Instructor Wang Qi, why are you here? The bald Instructor Lu looked at Wang Qi with a smile on his face, and his tone was a little excited. How is your hunting situation? This Instructor Wang Qi was also dressed in white, very capable, but with a trace of worry in his expression. Coach Lu, Coach Liang. Wang Qi nodded and greeted the two of them before continuing. When we were hunting today, the beasts were too powerful. The students in the hunting group couldn't resist them. There were even several level 10 warriors and level 1 monsters. These were far beyond the ability of our students to fight. So we are going to leave the intermediate area we went to today and find a new hunting area. I thought we could join forces with other hunting groups, which would be safer. Our area is closest to your direction, so I brought them here to have a look. How are you? Wang Qi said a lot in one breath. Liang Yu heard this and asked, did you run into anyone? Especially from Qinghong Martial Arts School. People from Qinghong Martial Arts School. No. Wang Qi shook his head when he heard Liang Yu's question, looking a little puzzled. What does this have to do with Qinghong Martial Arts School in Yongfeng Town? The number of monsters has increased, and these powerful martial arts schools should also be hunting beasts in the wild to obtain resources. How could they find me? Liang Yu heard that Wang Qi's experience was very similar to her own, but she didn't encounter anyone from Qinghong Martial Arts School. What happened? Was it because she was not strong enough to find them, or was it because she really didn't find them? The two people from Qinghong Martial Arts School were relatively strong, and they were probably at the martial arts master level. It was normal for them not to find them. Liang Yu couldn't help but doubt her own thoughts. Instructor Wang Qi, you are not injured, right? The bald Instructor Lu didn't seem to care about what happened with Instructor Liang Yu just now, and just looked at the leader Wang Qi with concern. Somewhat unable to resist Instructor Lu's enthusiasm, Wang Qi's face flushed, and she waved her hand quickly, I'm fine, I'm fine. Hearing this, Instructor Lu stood aside with a silly smile on his face, and he didn't look like an instructor at all. Why don't we go hunting together in the afternoon, what do you think? Wang Qi looked at Instructor Lu and Liang Yu with a hint of inquiry on his face. In her opinion, the most important thing about hunting is to ensure the safety of the students in the martial arts school as much as possible. However, fighting with wild beasts will inevitably lead to some casualties. However, the recent situation is rather special. There are too many high-level wild beasts, and there are even more powerful monsters from time to time. If she still leads the team alone, the safety of these students in the martial arts school will be threatened, and she will not be able to take care of them at all. Liang Yu's face was a little hesitant. His original plan was to take Wang Qi alone to hunt wild beasts in this area to improve his strength. The plan could not keep up with the changes. He and Wang Qi could get away here, but these two people and other hunting team members might not be sure. If they were killed here, it would be a big blow to the martial arts school. Okay, no problem, I agree with both hands. Before Liang Yu made a decision, Instructor Lu had already shouted, and his tone could hardly conceal his excitement. Liang Yu hesitated for a moment and nodded carefully in agreement. That's great. Seeing that the two agreed, Wang Qi seemed to have lost the worry on his face. He took a deep breath and looked much more relaxed. Instructor Lu even came closer and asked about his well-being. Instructor Wang Qi, do you want to eat something? Or do you want to take a rest? Liang Yu was talking a lot, so she shook her head and went to inspect the area not far away. On the other side, this is a high-level hunting group led by Instructor Wang Qi. Why are they here? The hunting group members on the side were also a little confused. After hearing this, Wang Qi hurriedly asked, Instructor Wang Qi, is he also from our Baiyu martial arts school? The hunting group member looked at Wang Qi with some surprise and said, don't you know him? Instructor Wang Qi is a warrior level expert who ranks among the instructors in our martial arts school. I haven't been in the martial arts school for a long time, so I don't know many people in our martial arts school. Please tell me about him. Wang Qi explained with a smile, and the hunting group member also had an expression of, I see. Then let me tell you. Our martial arts school has 10 advanced hunting groups. Basically, each instructor will lead 2 groups of members to hunt in the wild. There are only 5 instructors in the advanced group. Instructor Liu is 1, Instructor Wang Qi is 1, and there are 3 other instructors, Du Shu, Bai Wu, and Zhou Mu. Wang Qi listened carefully. The man paused and continued. Instructor Bai Wu is the strongest, Instructor Wang Qi is as strong as our Instructor Liu, which is also very impressive. There are several senior brothers and sisters in our martial arts hall who are level 10 warriors. They no longer need to follow the instructors to go out of the city to hunt. Now they act alone. You see, Instructor Wang Qi and his group are about the same strength as our group, but our senior sister Fang is much stronger than their hunting team leader. And senior sister Fang will probably break through the strength of the 9th level warrior in the near future and enter the last stage of the warrior realm, the 10th level warrior. It is really admirable. The hunting team members kept talking about some things in Baiyu Martial Arts Hall, which made Wang Qi understand a lot about the martial arts hall. By the way, Instructor Liang, I remember that you were the leader of the primary hunting group before. Why did you bring you here this time? The member asked Wang Qi with some confusion, staring at him. But Wang Qi had no idea why, so he shook his head and said, I don't know either. Instructor Liang just asked me to follow him, and I don't know anything else. Seeing this, the man didn't ask any more questions. The instructors were all very strong, and the martial arts school's decision was not something he could guess. Hey, it looks like the hunting group led by Instructor Wang Qi is going to act with us. There are a lot of beauties in this group. Wang Qi, you'd better seize the opportunity. The martial arts school's brothers have more wolves than meat, and they won't leave you any chances. Men and women working together are not tired. The wonderful afternoon is about to begin, ha 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 ha. The martial arts school's brothers saw Instructor Wang Qi directing her team members to rest on the spot in the distance, and laughed and howled. Several students actually walked directly to the team members behind Instructor Wang Qi and sat down on the spot. They all looked excited, as if they had encountered a huge happy event. Wang Qi came to Liang Yu and said, Instructor Liang, I have rested. What should we do next? Why don't you go over there and take a look? Maybe there will be some surprises. A rare smile appeared on Liang Yu's cold face, and she pursed her lips in the direction of Instructor Wang Qi. How could Wang Qi cope with this situation? He shook his head towards Liang Yu in embarrassment. Wait for them. The situation is not good today. Let's hunt together in the afternoon. You can go and rest for a while to refresh yourself. Things are not going well. Wang Qi was slightly startled when he heard this. What did it mean and asked, did something happen? Instructor. You'd better not know. Liang Yu persuaded with a calm face. Wang Qi, who was rejected by Liang Yu, was at a loss for a moment. If he didn't know, he wouldn't know. Anyway, even if something happened, there would still be instructors and the others. It's better to improve your strength quickly. Your current strength is still too weak. The 7th level of warrior means that you can only gain attribute points by killing beasts with warrior level 5 or above. The beasts of the same level are far less effective in killing instantly. Level 5 beasts for warriors come quickly. If you want to quickly gain attribute points, you can hunt these first. Wang Qi, who had an idea in mind, said to Liang Yu, Instructor, I want to hunt weaker beasts. Can I go by myself? Wang Qi looked at Liang Yu with a hint of expectation. Didn't you hear what I just said? Liang Yu looked at Wang Qi coldly, her tone unquestionable. Moreover, how can hunting low-level beasts with your current strength help you? Or do you think that killing some garbage in an instant can inflate your self-confidence and feel good? As a warrior, you don't dare to face higher challenges. Don't even think about making progress in your life. Don't let me hear you say these meaningless words again, wasting time. He was very angry at Wang Qi's thoughts and scolded Wang Qi sternly. A trace of unconvinced expression appeared on Wang Qi's face. The instructor seemed to have misunderstood what he meant. He was trying to improve his strength. What does it mean to inflate self-confidence by killing garbage instantly? With a hint of anxiety, he opened his mouth to retort, "Instructor, you have misunderstood. I am here to improve my strength, not what you said. It's really funny. Can hunting those garbage help you improve your strength? Although you have made rapid progress these days, you still regard martial arts training as too simple." Hearing Wang Qi's retort, Liang Yu felt a little funny in her heart. After practicing for so long, I have never heard that fighting low-level beasts can improve one's strength. Is this Wang Qi a little too idealistic? He still has a stern expression on his face. I hunt these beasts, I can. In the middle of the sentence, Wang Qi lowered his head and walked to the side in frustration. He didn't refute anything. It was better not to expose his secrets. The instructor couldn't understand. Find a way. What can it be? Liang Yu looked at Wang Qi and asked, but Wang Qi said nothing and said perfunctorily, "It's nothing, instructor, I listen to you." Liang Yu breathed a sigh of relief in her heart. This Wang Qi is really annoying. He keeps thinking wildly every day. He doesn't want to face the difficulties and challenge stronger beasts to break through himself. He wants to hunt low-level beasts. With your current strength, I'm afraid the beasts at level 5 and 6 are no match for you. Killing them will only consume your physical strength. It seems that the persuasion you just gave has worked. Half an hour later, assemble. Instructor Lu's voice echoed throughout the area. Whether they were resting or hooking up with other female members of the hunting team, they quickly stood up and walked quickly towards their respective teams. For this afternoon's hunting, our 4 groups set out to hunt together. Taking this opportunity, we had a small competition. The 2 groups led by Instructor Liang Yu and I, and the 2 groups led by Instructor Wang Qi, all the people we hunted in the afternoon. The hunting points of the beasts are accumulated, and the team with the highest hunting points will be rewarded with double the hunting points, allowing you to complete your mission in the martial arts hall faster. Do you understand? Instructor Lu stood in front of the 4 teams. The temporarily decided hunting competition rules were announced. After Instructor Lu announced the rules, all the members of the hunting group roared excitedly. "Brother, why are you all so excited?" Seeing the excitement of the people around him, Wang Qi was a little confused and asked the senior brother just now in confusion. Hey, Wang Qi, it is rare to encounter a situation where hunting points are doubled. The annual hunting point tasks of our hunting group members are also equivalent to our tuition fees. Different levels have different points. The corpses of these beasts were removed by the instructors. After bringing it back, you can not only provide meat supply to the martial arts hall canteen, but also sell it to obtain alliance coins to maintain the operation of the martial arts hall. The most important thing is that after you complete your hunting points for this year, you will hunt in the remaining time after confirmation. You own all the beasts, and this is all money. This is a rare opportunity for our hunting team. We will go all out this afternoon. The senior brother could not hide his excitement at this moment, eager to try. That's it, thank you, senior brother. Wang Qi looked like he was not ashamed to ask, which also made the senior brother happy to answer Wang Qi's question. After hearing the answer, Wang Qi couldn't help but think to himself, my own strength these days. What standards should be used to calculate progress? I still don't know what to call my senior brother. Hey, my name is Ding Wang. Senior brother Ding always looked cheerful, and Wang Qi was also amused by this happy look. Wang Qi nodded slightly with a smile on his face and remembered this senior brother's name. Moreover, the system for killing beasts now rewards me with alliance coins. If I can also obtain beast carcasses and sell them, wouldn't I be able to get a lot of money? But it is still unclear how much these beasts are worth. At this time, the 4 teams had gathered, and Wang Qi was slowly advancing behind them. After walking a few steps, there was already a commotion from the crowd in front. Beast, this is an 8th level black and brown bear. Its strength is comparable to that of a 9th level warrior. There are so many. There is also a ringed deer, which is also a level 9 beast. There are so many, we simply can't handle them. Wang Qi stood at the back of the team, stretching his neck to look forward through the crowd. Not far ahead, there were a huge number of wild beasts scattered around the hunting group, and the types were far more than the black-brown bears and ringed deer that he had just heard about. There are also many low-level monsters that Wang Qi and others hunted in the morning. With so many beasts, how many attribute points can I get if I hunt them all? Wang Qi looked excited. This situation is simply the best opportunity for him to improve his strength. In addition, I will collect the drops dropped by the two teams over there. Attribute point. God helps me. The thoughts in his heart made Wang Qi's blood surge, and his thin face was full of excitement. Even if he didn't need hunting points and his strength improved, why worry about not having hunting points? Everyone, prepare to fight. People of each level choose the corresponding monsters. If you are sure of challenging higher level monsters, I will be happy to. But don't let me see you looking for those meaningless low-level beasts, otherwise you can forget about doubling your points today. The bald instructor Lu shouted loudly. Go! The people around couldn't stand it anymore. After hearing the instructor's order, they rushed into the beasts with a courageous momentum and started fighting. Even senior brother Ding beside Wang Qi shouted to Wang Qi. Senior brother, I'll go first, otherwise all the beasts will be killed. Wang Qi felt a little funny when he heard this. Are you afraid that there won't be enough points for so many beasts? Wang Qi didn't need hunting points that much. He only wanted attribute points. Looking at the attribute light balls falling in the distance, Wang Qi also rushed towards the attribute light balls without hesitation. Ding! Attribute points plus 0.8 plus 0.9 plus 0.9 plus 0.9. Just as Wang Qi was constantly shuttling between the students of the martial arts school, Instructor Lu in the distance suddenly roared, "What are you doing? You are running around here instead of fighting. You are such a jerk." The figure came towards Wang Qi and caught Wang Qi in one breath. Wang Qi, don't kill the beasts, and it's best not to affect other people's battles. If something goes wrong, you can't bear the responsibility. The bald instructor Lu stared at Wang Qi with a fierce expression on his face, as if Wang Qi had made a big mistake. If I see you again, you won't participate in the hunt today. The bald instructor Lu said angrily. Liang Yu on the other side shouted, Old Lu. At the same time, he shook his head at Instructor Lu, indicating to let go of Wang Qi. Instructor Lu also snorted coldly when he saw this and threw Wang Qi away. Instructor, don't worry, I won't affect others. Wang Qi, who was caught, was a little unhappy. He didn't need to get too close to collect the attributes, and the attribute light ball would be absorbed by himself. He ran around without affecting others. Instructor Lu was really too nervous. If you weren't stronger than me, would I be caught by you? Wang Qi muttered to himself. After saying that, he ran to the battle area where the beasts seemed to be at the 7th level of warriors. Adding the 30 points of attributes just obtained to the strength increased from 211 to 241, and there were still more than 10 people to break through the 8th level of warriors. Strength 241. First pick some soft persimmons. With Wang Qi's current strength, he can kill the beasts at the 7th level of warriors with Feishu Fist in 2 or 3 strokes. If he hits the vital point, the beast's head is like a ripe watermelon, and Wang Qi will blow it up with one punch. The hunting points belong to you. A 7th level warrior student who was still fighting looked at the opponent who was suddenly headshot, a little confused. But after hearing Wang Qi's words, he immediately reacted and shouted, Wang Qi, are you going to give us points again? Ha ha ha. This man was also excited. It took a lot of effort to kill the beast. Wang Qi was really a boy who gave money. Wang Qi saw that the martial arts student did not object, and laughed, just wait to collect the points. Before he finished speaking, he flashed his body and ran quickly towards other martial arts students who were fighting. In this area, most of them were people who had fought side by side with Wang Qi last time. Seeing Wang Qi's current appearance, they were all happy in their hearts. There was no reason not to want the hunting points given for free. Help me to contain them, I will kill them, and the points will be counted for you. Wang Qi shouted and told his plan. The people around him heard it and agreed excitedly. Ha ha ha, no problem, Wang Qi. You are really our treasure. Then you have to be faster, otherwise don't say we don't give you a chance. Ha ha. The number of warriors at level 7 is the largest among the hunting groups, and more than half of them have cooperated with Wang Qi once, so they are now more comfortable with each other. Wang Qi, who was originally going well, was hindered by the team led by instructor Wang Qi. What are you doing? One of the female martial arts students saw Wang Qi kill her opponent and looked at him angrily. Nothing. Help you kill the beast, and the hunting points belong to you. Wang Qi told the other party his intention. He originally thought that the other party could be like others, but the next sentence made Wang Qi lose his mood. Don't pretend to be a good person here. Who knows if you will end up saying that the points earned from killing beasts are yours. The woman looked suspicious and contemptuous, which made Wang Qi upset and cursed in his heart. Not wanting to bother with this person, Wang Qi turned around and left. Stop, you're going to run after you've snatched the hunting points. I'm going to tell the instructor about you. The woman was still relentless, and she even started to attack Wang Qi, wanting to capture Wang Qi and bring him to the instructor so that the instructor could teach him a lesson. You really don't know what's good for you. I gave you the points, but you didn't want them, and you even wanted to fight me. Wang Qi was also furious, wasting time. Looking at the opponent's attacking gloves, Wang Qi didn't dodge at all, and directly punched up. This female student was only a 7th level warrior. Even if Wang Qi didn't use the flying catkin's fist now, the powerful force was enough to cripple her. This person looked at Wang Qi and her fists, with a smug smile on her face, as if she had already won. But when the fists touched, her face suddenly changed color. The whole person was knocked back dozens of steps by Wang Qi's punch, covering her arm with a painful look on her face. You robbed the hunting points and even hurt people. It's unreasonable. I'm going to tell the instructor about you and let the instructor punish you. The woman looked at Wang Qi with anger, but the pain in her arm made her unable to fight again. Wang Qi's powerful strength also shocked her. She knew she was no match for him, but she still wanted the instructor to punish her. You are really good at confusing right and wrong. You obviously started it first, and you want to find the instructor when you can't beat me. Go ahead, I won't stop you, it's really a waste of my time. Wang Qi was even more angry when he heard what the other party said. He helped her kill the beast and didn't want hunting points, but she was still so difficult to deal with. He looked at the other party coldly and turned away. I'd better go find the brothers I knew before. Wang Qi cursed in his heart. This time he really made himself angry. When they came to the area where they had just hunted, these people seemed to have seen what happened to Wang Qi just now, and they all looked like they were watching a show. Wang Qi, why don't you help anyone else, but go find the most unreasonable person? You are disgusted. Ha ha, one of the martial arts students laughed. After watching Wang Qi's good show, these people also joked without any hesitation. You bunch of fools, you knew it but didn't remind me. Wang Qi laughed and cursed. It seems that the woman's reputation in the martial arts hall is not very good. It's just that he has just been here for a short time and doesn't know her. But this group of people actually watched him being disgusted and no one reminded him. It's really a rip-off. Thinking of this, Wang Qi's eyes suddenly glared. Do it yourself. Earn hunting points slowly. No, no, no. Wang Qi, are you kidding? I want you to see the special talents of our martial arts school. The man just now hurriedly persuaded Wang Qi with a weird smile on his face, and his tone at the end was even more serious. That's right, do it. Ha 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 ha. The people around also laughed. With Wang Qi's help, the speed of obtaining points increased several times. As long as he restrained himself, Wang Qi could basically kill instantly. If they were allowed to hunt by themselves, it would take a long time. Wang Qi shouted in a low voice, not knowing whether to express his resentment or let them continue to fight together. In this round of hunting just now, Wang Qi killed nearly 20 beasts of level 7 warriors, and added the 13 points of the harvest to strength, and the attributes were improved again. Host: Wang Qi. Level: Warrior level 7. Kung Fu: Basic Bodybuilding Method level 2, 7/100. Skill: Flying Catkins. Proficiency 261 1,000th. Skill damage 200%. Strength: 253. Physique: 50. Speed: 30. Spirit: 2. Attribute points: none. Wealth: 134,600. Equipment: Fine Iron Fist. Wang Qi, today Instructor Liu said that whichever group has the highest score will have its hunting points doubled. Why don't you help our group? With you, a monster killer, our group is almost certain to win. During the battle, a martial arts student said to Wang Qi. The rules announced by Instructor Liu in the afternoon made these team members put all their efforts into hunting wild animals in order to get the highest score. At the same time, there were a lot of wild animals today. After the hunting points doubled, the annual tasks of more than most people were greatly improved. Now they are looking forward to Wang Qi's help to stabilize the group's score in the first place. Wang Qi laughed when he heard this. I only hunt wild animals. If you can't restrain so many, I can only go to another group to help others. These people want to rely on themselves, and I also want to rely on them to restrain wild animals and create opportunities for myself to kill wild animals quickly. It's a mutually beneficial thing. As for the other group, if they really help Instructor Liu's group to kill the wild animals, it's not impossible to go over there to take a look. The more attribute points, the better. Just don't run into that woman again, and everything will be fine. You guys, brothers, work harder. With Wang Qi's help, the hunting mission has the hope of being completed ahead of schedule. If you don't fight now, when will you fight? The martial arts student who had just talked to Wang Qi looked at Wang Qi helplessly, and then shouted to the brothers around him to speed up the speed of restraining and hunting wild animals. You have to work hard. Wang Qi was secretly happy in his heart, and his body kept moving and killing wild animals. Although there are many wild animals and many hunting points can be obtained, it can't withstand so many martial arts students to share them equally. Several instructors who were watching the battle were also constantly communicating. Instructor Liang, your Wang Qi is now a warrior level 7. How can he improve so fast? It's incredible. Bald Instructor Liu looked at Wang Qi's constantly moving figure in the battle area and the beasts that fell under Wang Qi's hands, and looked stunned. It has only been a short time since Wang Qi joined the martial arts hall, and he can kill beasts of level 7 warriors so easily. No wonder the owner of the martial arts hall also asked him to take a closer look at this guy, he is really different. Bald Instructor Liu was shocked. Wang Qi is improving very fast. I am also surprised. I guess he will be able to break through the warrior level in a short time. The warrior level training is the most basic. Some people have strong physical talents and their strength grows very fast. There are many such people, but the most important training has not yet begun. The warrior level is the real beginning of martial arts. Liang Yu heard other people's praise for Wang Qi, and there was a smile on his face, but he was still unsure about Wang Qi's future progress. This strength is improving fast, but the blood is far behind, which is a bit extreme. Who are you talking about? Wang Qi watched the two of them talking to each other, and was a little curious about what kind of student Wang Qi was. Hearing Wang Qi talking, Instructor Liu quickly replied, it's the guy who I just caught running around. He is now in the hunting area of the 7th level warrior in our group. He stretched out his hand and pointed in the direction of Wang Qi. The owner of the hall personally told me to pay more attention to this Wang Qi, saying that he has good talent. I didn't pay attention to him a few days ago, but today he seems to be a bit good. The bald Instructor Liu explained to Instructor Wang Qi with a friendly expression, but such an expression on his face was really a bit weird. And this guy actually helped others hunt wild beasts and didn't want points for himself. But that's right, Wang Qi's progress is too fast, and it doesn't matter whether he gets points or not. If he can break through to the warrior level within a year, I'm afraid the owner of the hall will reward him well. Instructor Liang Yu looked at the bald man with a strong hormone smell, and moved aside unnoticed, pulling away from the two men. Looking at Wang Qi's figure in the distance, Liang Yu didn't know what she was thinking. These warrior level 7 beasts are no problem for me. Wang Qi, who had just killed a beast, stopped and adjusted his state. All the warrior level 7 beasts in this area were killed. Strength is indeed the most important. If my attributes are average now, no matter how fast my physical speed is, it will be useless if I can't break the beast's defense. Although my physical speed is a little worse now, I can still recover. Wang Qi had his own views on the battle just now, thinking secretly. This beast of level 7 warrior is different from others. According to other martial arts students, this is an iron-backed wild boar with strong defense ability. It is a mutant animal with fur like steel. If ordinary warriors of level 8 warriors do not have sharp weapons, it is difficult to break its defense by strength alone. However, Wang Qi relied on the strength of almost level 9 warriors to beat it so that its skin and flesh were sunken and its internal organs were shattered and died. This once again made Wang Qi realize the importance of strength. Dozens of beasts of level 7 warriors contributed 23 attribute points to Wang Qi, all of which were added to strength. The strength of the attribute panel changed immediately. The strength increased from 253 to 276. And finally reached level 8 warriors. The speed of strength improvement was so fast that Wang Qi felt a little unreal. It's so cool. The hunting points I got today are equal to the previous month. If it doubles, it will be even cooler. The martial arts students who had just been cooperating with Wang Qi were all excited at this time, and their words kept revealing their own excitement. What if you lie about the number? Wang Qi took the opportunity to take a break and ask the martial arts members. The martial arts hall's hunting points statistics are not very strict. In Wang Qi's opinion, it is completely possible to lie about the number. What's the difficulty? But after hearing Wang Qi's words, these members looked at Wang Qi in disbelief. Are you crazy? You lied about the number. What do you think the instructor was doing there? One of the members said in surprise. That's right. The instructor is very powerful. It is said that the warriors have strong blood and qi, which nourishes the body. Whether it is the 5 senses or the memory, they are far superior to the warriors. Everything that happened when we killed was in their eyes. The instructor knows who killed how many. There was a fool like you before. The instructor had already told him to report truthfully, but he still committed suicide by lying about the number to get more hunting points. As a result, he was directly expelled from the martial arts hall. These members kept talking about lying about hunting points. Wang Qi was stunned. Are the warriors so powerful? But, can you get points for the beasts I killed? According to what they said, wouldn't the beasts I just killed have nothing to do with them? That's not right. If that's the case, how can they cooperate with me to kill the beasts together? Wang Qi was confused. You're overthinking this. Hunting points for hunting wild animals can be transferred within the group. But this situation basically doesn't happen. Everyone has a heavy task to complete. In addition, their family conditions are not very good, so they don't have time to help others get points. Except for their relatives, they occasionally help out. Everyone else wants all the points for themselves. One of them explained. Is that so? Wang Qi listened to their explanation and understood a little. Turning his head to look at the instructors in the distance, he found that these instructors were indeed constantly looking at the surrounding battle areas. It seems that the instructors probably know about his actions and seem to have acquiesced. Then is there anyone who grabs points? For example, those with strong strength grab your points. Wang Qi was still a little confused about the doorway here. No, this kind of thing only counts if low-level warriors challenge high-level beasts to get higher points. If you are stronger and then kill low-level beasts, it doesn't count. And now people are moving towards higher levels, who would still think about low-level ones. The final points of a team like ours will be divided equally. A martial arts student answered Wang Qi's question tirelessly. Wang Qi thought about it in his heart. After hearing so much, it seemed that it had nothing to do with him directly. Forget it, don't waste time, hurry up and kill the level 8 beast over there, and then said to everyone. You guys take a rest, I'm going to kill the level 8 beast over there. The few people looked at each other, seemed to have some ideas, and nodded to each other. One of the members said, Wang Qi, we are going to challenge the level 8 beast. We will contain it. Can you come and help kill it? The tone was a little nervous, and the people around him looked at Wang Qi with expectant expressions. I don't know if Wang Qi will agree. No problem, as long as you can contain it. Wang Qi smiled. There was no reason to refuse such a thing. He turned around and left. Brothers, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Brother Wang Qi has helped us a lot. We must take this opportunity to make a lot of hunting points. In addition, we should try to find lone beasts to avoid conflicts with other brothers. One of them seemed to be the backbone of this team. After speaking, the others nodded in agreement. Wang Qi came to Brother Ding who had talked with him at noon, looked at Brother Ding who was still fighting and said, Brother Ding, I will help you kill the beast, and the points belong to you, how about it? Wang Qi, are you kidding? Don't you want points? Brother Ding who was still fighting was a little unconvinced. Although the two had a good chat at noon, it is better to be cautious about such issues. No joke, I'm serious. Wang Qi looked sincere. This kind of thing is indeed difficult to happen in the hunting group, and it is normal for the other party not to believe it. He had to prove it with actual actions. Now Wang Qi's strength has improved. With the help of Feishu Fist, his strength has reached a level higher than that of an average warrior of level 9. He used his fists to attack the beast fighting with senior brother Ding. This was a black-brown bear with strong strength. Although it was an 8th level beast, its strength was almost comparable to that of an average 9th level beast. Senior brother Ding had some difficulty fighting it. The moment Wang Qi joined, his fists, like a storm, instantly beat the black-brown bear back again and again, without any power to fight back. Senior brother Ding, do you know where the weakness of this beast is? Without any experience of fighting with it, Wang Qi placed his hopes on senior brother Ding. If he knew the weakness, it would be very easy to attack. Armpits and its belly. Senior brother Ding looked at the black-brown bear being beaten back by Wang Qi, and his face was full of incredible expressions. This guy was so strong, could he be a 9th level warrior? How come I hadn't found such a person before with such strength? After learning about the black-brown bear's weakness, Wang Qi's punches became faster. The black-brown bear was on all fours, and its belly could only be exposed when it attacked. At this time, the armpits were still the main attack point. The target had been determined, and Wang Qi dodged and punched the black-brown bear's armpits fiercely, instantly knocking one of its legs off its feet and causing it to stumble to the ground. The black-brown bear, which could not stand on all fours, stood up directly, waving its claws and whistling as it grabbed Wang Qi, trying to smash Wang Qi's head. Dare to expose your belly. Wang Qi was happy. This beast was strong, but its IQ was really worrying. He stretched out his left hand to block it, and punched the black-brown bear's belly with his right hand several times, instantly beating it to pieces. Roar. With an angry and unwilling roar, the black-brown bear fell to the ground and died. The hunting points belong to you. Senior brother Ding. Wang Qi grinned. Senior brother Ding seemed to have not yet reacted. The black-brown bear that he had not killed for so long was killed so easily by Wang Qi. Is this the gap? Senior brother Ding, don't be stunned. Today, you finally have the opportunity to double your points. Why don't you seize the time? Seeing senior brother Ding in a daze, Wang Qi reminded him. Wang Qi, you are so awesome. Senior brother Ding had admiration on his face and raised his thumb to gesture to Wang Qi. Brother Ding, you help me hold it back, I'll kill it, and the points belong to you, how about that? Just now, we killed all the beasts with level 7 warriors over there. If you have a trustworthy friend, come along, and we can kill faster. Wang Qi raised his eyebrows, speaking bluntly and smiling. Brother Ding was also very straightforward. No problem, let's do it, how can we not cherish such a good opportunity? You wait for me, I'll go find someone, and you can come and kill it in a while. Wang Qi, a student who had just fought side by side with him, shouted from a distance. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.